Welcome to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. Tonight you're going to be joining us for our coverage of the Mountain League Overwatch Collegiate Spring 2022 season. It's going to be a very exciting season as Boise State looks to be heading to a very prosperous overall performance. Might be getting into the finals, but they have going to have a lot of tough competition against well-known teams such as UNLV, Colorado State, and University of New Mexico. And we're going to highlight two of those teams first off tonight. The University of New Mexico and Colorado State are going to be in a very tough match. The Lobos versus the Rams. They are definitely going to be fighting to see who can match Boise State in terms of skill. I'm your host, Jacob Jim Palmer. Joining me is Brenner Berlat to call all of the Overwatch action tonight. And these two teams, the Lobos and the Rams, you know, they're kind of teams that you might kind of overlook because the rivalry between Boise State and UNLV is such an intense one in the Mountain West arena. But these two teams bring a lot of skill in their own right.
Yeah, it is definitely a matchup that we should be very excited to look forward to because we are very used to the high skill level between the UNLV and Boise State matchup, as you mentioned. But bringing it back down to the other teams in this competition, they have rivalries of their own going on. You know, Boise State has taken on Colorado before, and we have seen what their potential and how good they are in certain realms. So now take that against a team that they are very evenly matched against, like University of New Mexico, where we have not showcased them before, and is something to look forward to. We have showcased New Mexico State, but not just University of New Mexico. So that is an exciting thing to look forward to of what is this team capable of. Whereas on the side of Colorado State, that is someone that we have seen. So now we will have to wait and see what those teams can bring to the table. And I'm expecting a lot of higher speed comps because that seems to be the prevailing meta for this current season.
Well, let's take a look at the event tonight, see how things are going to work out. It is 6v6 competitive. Best of 5. The maps played are going to be Control, Hybrid, Escort, and Assault, with Control played again if it needs to go to a 5th game with no hero bans. And once again, the matchup, it is in fact New Mexico State. My apologies for getting that wrong. New Mexico State versus Colorado State. The Lobos versus the Rams. And these two teams are ready to fight furiously. But before we get to that, we want to provide these teams with the top advice they will need to succeed. And that, of course, is brought to us in the form of Doc's Keys to the Game. Doc's Keys to the Game in Overwatch is never to take a fair fight, which means to take fights in unexpected places when they are unprepared and when you can have ability advantages. Doc's Keys to the Game brought to us by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. You can play to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches online. No matter what your skill level, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. So we prepare head into the first match. This is going to be Control, so why don't you open us up as to what we can expect on this particular mode and overall what the skills the teams are going to be needing considering what stage we're going to play on.
Yeah, and so for a lot of these control maps, it's going to be usually a race to the point, or at least race to get the engage that you want for that first fight. We talk about again and again how important it is winning that first fight to get the momentum in your favor, and especially on control, getting that early percentage can get you such the lead that you need, that the enemy team is constantly having to take fights that they're not really wanting to take. And if the first map is Busan, like we are seeing right now, I expect these fights to be always centered around the enemy spawns and just pushing forward as far as you can. In Mecha Base, it's always going to be at one of the two doorways on the high ground or low ground. As we saw on Shrine, it's going to be right at that main archway as they come out of spawn where the window is before you get to the point, or off to the right where the actual shrine is. And if we look at the final map, it's going to be a lot of right up on top of point, outside of the point. So if you're constantly brawling not on the point, that means the team who holds it first is probably going to hold it for the longest and maybe even guaranteed to win that map. So I expect these teams to be coming out the gate with dive, hide speed comps, things like a Wrecking Ball, Lucio, Genji, Tracer even, possibly a Moira. They're just going to be trying to get there as quickly as possible, get the engage that they want, get a pick or two, win the team fight, hold the point, and then just continue that momentum.
Here we go. Looks like Shrine is going to be the first one chosen. And yeah, you definitely alluded to it. A lot of high-speed comps are really in the meta right now, so wouldn't be surprised to see some plays like a Lucio or a Wrecking Ball. We'll just have to see what is brought out It looks like both teams are making their way toward their first engagement here.
Yeah, you can see from the red side, they're already pushing into where the enemy had spawned to get all the way around so that they can flank the team that is inside the building as the fight starts.
It does look like it is very divey compositions that have been brought out, especially for blue right now, as red is already on the point. So it looks like Yin is going to be the first one to get a pick, taking out Slagathor. That's going to give a little bit of an advantage to the Lobos as they try to secure themselves onto point. But it looks like we're seeing a bit of spin to win right now from Tree, trying to maintain some position for the Rams on that point. He's going to get pelted with damage right now from Griffin. Taking a lot is going to go down to half health, but overall it is back and forth between these two teams as they struggle for this point.
Yeah, it's trying to get that first pick, and Winston is definitely a key player in that, and ult's coming out.
There goes the pulse bomb that is going to be used. Doesn't look like it picks up anybody. Nano Boost is already going to be used by Giraffe. Kurama is now going to bring out the blade, and that is just going to slice right through Colorado State. Griffin also doing great work taking out Slagathor. Kurama gets his second, despite Tree trying to make something happen, taking out Giraffe and Griffin's mech. It's not going to be enough. Lobos take the point first.
Yeah, and that was a ton of ults coming right out the gate before anyone could cap the point, and now engaging with heard a rally out of nowhere, but the rally is not up, so I find that really interesting. Might have been just a bug in the game, but these teams are charging these ults up so quickly because that's how long they're just brawling for.
Primal Rage is going to be one of the ults that is brought online and is used to keep Colorado State from even getting to the point right now. New Mexico has passed a quarter in their overall journey to 100. There goes a whole bunch of rallies brought out, including a Deadeye, which is going to pick up Giraffe. And off the rally finish is going to do great work as well, picking up a double. Kurama tries to keep a presence for New Mexico, but now he's going to get focused down by finish. And overall, great play from Colorado State's Brig there, gets them the point.
Yeah, they had the ult advantage going into that fight. The ult economy was in their favor, and New Mexico only had the rally and the Primal Rage to answer it. They didn't get the Pulse Bomb off in time or the Nano Blade, so Colorado using their ults as soon as they get them is exactly what you want to see from these high-level teams.
Colorado State's now going to have their first fight trying to defend this point. The good news is that at least defensively they are going to have that sound barrier, so the damage that's going to be brought out from New Mexico can be countered to some extent as Yin is trying to get some sort of pick around the flank routes here. Kurama now looking for his clearance to dive in as well. He's going to also have that Nano Blade available soon to clear out some space. Self-destruct is going to be thrown out. Slagathor is going to be using that Pulse Bomb in response, as well as the Gravitic Flux also brought out from Beef. And look at Dio there picking up Yin, and Tree also picking up Kurama. And with the DPS is gone for New Mexico, Dio's going to continue doing his work, taking out Valkyrie, Brighthammer, and Giraffe are also going to fall. And New Mexico, despite a few ults that they use, they're still not able to take the point.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a misplay on their end. We saw Giraffe use the Nano, but Kurama did not have the blade ready, and he simply got Gratific Flux into the ground and ended up dying still. Not having it and having the Nano, so he wasn't able to execute, whereas the Wrecking Ball was able to use his mines to answer and just cut off any of the sightlines.
There goes the blade, going to be brought out by Kurama. How many is he going to pick up? He's going to focus down the Cassidy, and that's going to pay off for one. How many more can he pick up? The blade is still online. He isn't using it with the Nano Boost, so it's harder for him to just slice through all of the other teammates. There goes Beef taking out Yin. He's going to get answered back by Kurama, who now manages to get the train rolling like he was trying to. Picking up 3 is going to go for his 4th. Looks like it's just going to be enough for New Mexico to try to take back the point, but a Deadeye is from Supan is not going to really get anybody there. Slagathor throws out the Pulse Bomb, only going to pick up Brighthammer as Kurama continues doing main work for the Lobos to get them back the point.
Yeah, I would really like to see a swap off of the Cole Cassidy, especially going into both a Tracer and a Genji, that we haven't seen the Cole Cassidy really be able to counter as hard as he should, especially with a break behind him. This Tracer should be constantly getting shut down in every team fight, and she's just been getting way too much value, so Colorado State is going to need to focus down the DPS here.
A lot of ultimates now coming online for New Mexico. Should help them maintain the point for 1 or 2 fights if they use them right. They're going to use the first one there, the Primal Rage, as well as the Pulse Bomb. That's going to take out a finish. So Colorado State not going to have their main healing available. Now no healing available as both their supports are eliminated. Kurama also picking up, now goes to a triple with Griffin also picking up Beef. Colorado State is going to get held to 1 point. New Mexico still holding on.
Yeah, and they can continue holding on, having that Nano Blade online on top of the self-destruct that just so much zoning capabilities that it'll lead Kura with that Nano Blade right into the enemy team as they're trying to avoid the self-destruct. So Colorado State's going to have to just dive onto this point. Losing a Lucio is not a good start.
Well, actually, I do not see that Nano Boost going on to Kurama there, just with the solo Genji Blade. He's still going to pick up 2, though, as Yin with the punch is going to take out Slagathor. Colorado State is now going to have to trickle in 1 by 1. Not a good position for them, as Yin, continuing on the ultimate advantage, is going to be taking out Tree and Beef. Both tanks are going to be out of it for a little while for Colorado State. Dio also eliminated, and that's going to wrap it up for the Lobos, who take the first win.
Yeah, Colorado State had really that one great push, and then they had one good answer for New Mexico, but they were not able to get the ball rolling once again, and that put a lot of pressure on Nicole Cassidy. He was not able to get the value he needed, as even the replay shows. New Mexico was targeting him down with just a plain blade because they knew how much value he could get, but when we did watch him the couple times, he was missing a lot of those shots. Even when he flash banged the Tracer, she managed to live and get away with it, and that's something that a Cole Cassidy needs to know how to do, is flashbang one-tap headshot a Tracer.
Now we go to Mecha Base, and really one of the most enclosed spaces in the game. Definitely has some brutal choke points as well.
Yeah, so this is where we're going to see another hard brawl between these two teams, because we know they love brawling, especially they both went up top, no one went for the far left, and even a Reaper coming out. These teams are aiming to fight.
Here we go. We see 2 Immortality Fields thrown out. Griffin picking up the first pick onto Beef. Both teams bringing out Reinhardt as well to help them push through those narrow chokes. But New Mexico getting the first victory. They're immediately going to make space for themselves by pushing Colorado State back into those narrow hallways. Colorado State is having a real tough time trying to battle New Mexico's brawl now. And just more flashbang is thrown on them by Yin. So much damage going through those doorways. But Tree managing to gain a foothold by taking out Valkyrie, as well as the Amp Matrix thrown down by Finish, is going to give Colorado State just enough to push through. But look at Kurama bringing this Genji Blade online, gonna slice right through Finish. Now Supa as well, make it Tree. Just as it looked like Colorado State might be able to push through, a Genji Blade stops all of it.
Yeah, with how long they've been brawling, they never truly disengaged to try to go for a re-engage. They were just always poking at each other, or even after they lost Beef in that first engagement. And so that was just charging ults again and again and again, which is why we saw Finish get the Amp Matrix first, and then both DPS ults, and it was just such a cluster that these teams still have so much in their kit for this next one.
Right Hammer's going to drop down that Amp Matrix, meaning just one step outside of that doorway is going to be met with so much damage. Mexico also holding on to a few other ultimates. Might just throw the self-destruct. There goes the Shatter out from Colorado State. Is going to pick up a lot of members of New Mexico. Immortality Field keeping New Mexico alive. There goes the self-destruct. Is going to take out Finish. The Deadeye also eliminating Slagathor. And despite that early Shatter, New Mexico is able to survive and keep control of the point.
Yeah, the DPS don't even need to defend the point. It was only Tree on there. The lone tank able to make it there in time. But New Mexico still has the Genji and the sound barrier to deny the single Deadeye coming out from Colorado State. So once again, they're going for an uphill battle and continuing to push this far uphill door rather than going for any other rotation point.
And it seems to think the sound barrier is going to protect them, but now that is worn out. They're going to try to use the Deadeye to push through. But look at Kurama just getting right in the face of both of the Rams' DPSs. Is already going to take out their Cassidy. Coalescence also trying to heal up the remaining members of the Rams, but it is an unstoppable barrage of eliminations from New Mexico, with Yin picking up a double. Kurama with a punch to Psychoforce's face is going to stop the Rams' any last chance of getting toward this point. It looks like it's a pretty flawless victory for New Mexico State.
Yeah, that was just such a clean control round for New Mexico. They knew exactly what their team comp was, what they wanted to play, who they wanted to target. Whereas if you look on the side of Colorado State, for a long time they were doing, Rhine, Reapers, Sigma, Tracer. They were like half and half. They didn't know if they wanted to go full brawl or full dive. And it wasn't till the last 2 seconds where we saw the Wrecking Ball come out and the Cole Cassidy swap off as well. So they could go more dive, but too little, too late.
And in terms of what the New Mexico wanted to play, there was really no question. Their DPS was just happy on that Genji, just stuck on that, and was certainly a star player. Well, that's going to do it for the first map. We're going to be back with Hybrid in just a moment, see what Colorado State decides to pick to try to claw back some control. So stay tuned. We have a great match on our hands. We'll get back to it after this break.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We're currently watching our coverage of Mountain West Collegiate Overwatch. We are getting ready for the spring 2022 season. Actually, it is underway, and we're watching a very fantastic match so far against New Mexico State and Colorado State. The Rams versus the Lobos, and the Lobos currently lead 1-0 after getting a victory on Busan. I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer, joined by Brenner Bear Ladd to call all of the Overwatch action for you tonight. And now, Bear, as we head into the second map, this is going to be hybrid with a little bit of an off-meta choice, I do believe. Normally we do see King's Row, but it looks like we are going to be heading into Eichenwald instead.
Yeah, it's been a huge welcome change in the Mountain West tournament that we've been casting again is more and more people choosing Eichenwald. I guess it's just a big change up, and it definitely suits the meta of these higher speed comps. It gives them a little bit larger chance rather than right out the gate, and the point being right there. These teams have to be able to push through that archway and continue to get to that point. And as you and I have touched on in the past, this third final point castle we've never seen. We were able to see it last time for a brief moment, but these teams almost never are able to cap the point. But with how close this matchup actually has been, it could be a possibility.
Yeah, I definitely don't see either of these teams really kind of letting through a full hold here, because it seems in control. There were a lot of fights. The point went back and forth between the two. The Lobos did have a pretty dominant showing on Mecha Base, but I think Colorado State, especially since they decided to choose this stage, are going to have some strategies that they are confident in. So we are going to be very excited to see how that all works. And how, of course, all this tournament works. Once again, it is a 6v6 tournament, best of 5. Modes in the best of 5 are what you would expect: control, hybrid, escort, assault, and then control played again if it goes to a game 5. Before we get into this particular match, let's just remind both of these teams of Doc's keys to the game one more time in Overwatch, so we can see what we have to look forward to if these teams want to win. And that's going to be never to take a fair fight. That means to take fights in unexpected places, when your opponents are unprepared, and when you can have ability advantages. All brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. You can play to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry tournaments. To find out more, go to dropingaming.com and begin your competitive gaming journey. Alrighty, we're just about ready to head into Eichenwald. Do you have any final thoughts or any final expectations before we get to the action, Bear?
If Colorado State can take down the DPS of New Mexico, I expect them to win these team fights, so hopefully they can execute on that.
Yeah, the DPS for New Mexico has been quite a threat, especially their Genji. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him again brought out. But right now, once again, this is New Mexico versus Colorado State, the Lobos versus the Rams in Mountain West Collegiate Overwatch. We are ready to head into the second round of this best of 5. Let's see if the Rams can mount some sort of defense. And right now, Kurama, the one that we've been seeing on Genji, is actually also going to swap over to the Tracer for this particular showing. So still kind of one of those just fast flanky heroes, though, so still kind of the same gameplay we're used to seeing from Kurama.
Yeah, it seems these teams have support swaps, because they have Colorado State has an Echo but no Mercy. New Mexico has a Mercy but no flying hero.
And it's going to make, without that Mercy pocket, it's going to make Sligathor's job a bit harder, but we'll see how Colorado State does as they have reached up the first archway. Struggling a bit to push past if the tree is actually going to catch out Kurama, and with that flank gone, Colorado State might try to push through now, although Yin, doing a lot of damage boosted by that Mercy, is going to take out one from the Rams. Now Colorado State, both teams back up to full health. Colorado State tries to use this flanking route around here, is going to try to put up some shields, as Tree is going to slam right down into the Lobos, trying to pick off one of them, doing a lot of damage. Yin also is going to be protected, as you can see, by that Immortality Field thrown out. Now is eliminated by Dio, taking out that Lantern. And now Kurama getting one pick onto Supa. That could be enough to hold the Rams, at least force them to a reset. Rams still have to try to take the point, but now with they're down 3, it's most definitely going to have to be a reset for them.
Yeah, especially getting that Valkyrie coming out from New Mexico. Oh, I don't think it was necessarily needed, but it definitely helps them secure the fight, especially with how has just been so low on that Doomfist. He's also went unanswered for so long, and this is where Colorado State needs to swap off this Symmetra. They tried it once, it didn't work. This is where you need to swap off it because New Mexico's gonna be looking for that teleporter every time they engage now.
Yeah, that's something that really kind of takes teams that really is a problem for some teams, is when they don't know when to swap their comp to something more advantageous. But Supa, once driving in that photon barrier, we'll see if it works out, but now they're going to try to push again.
Yes, kicking things off with the rally as well as the Bob to answer it will actually lead for the first elimination over to Colorado State, taking down Griffin as well as Brighthammer from Finish, getting a double on that break. They even had the sound barrier to boot. Colorado State having a very aggressive push, able to pick up one more of the Valkyrie, but now New Mexico is coming back swinging with Karama taking down Super Move as well as Yin taking down Finish, and Hiffy getting the res, so the main tank is back. They have a standing, but with the Gratific Flux taking down the Mercy and Karama falling as well to Tree, it seems Colorado State will be able to cap this point as the other remaining members of New Mexico have responded and began to trickle back in. It seems that Colorado is having a very strong footing, taking down Griffin once again, and Brighthammer with Beef even getting the melee onto Valkyrie. They will finally cap the point, but they burned 2 minutes off the board, so good on New Mexico.
It is a good hold, and it really is a key thing we want to watch out for in the future, that it really is a dependence on whether Finish does have that rally online, that they're able to try to push through these choke points. Unfortunately, Slagathor, it seems like the flank attempts from both of the Tracers for both these teams have been caught out early, and right now Kuruma is going to try his own flank here and quickly runs away.
Yeah, the Doofus can get away faster than Tracer, just ever so slightly, not having to wait for all three of those blinks to come back. But a great engage on top of the castle could go Colorado State's way. They had the ult advantage on top of the Wrecking Ball Slam and forces them onto the low ground. And Dio will get the first environmental elimination boop onto Brighthammer. That's main heals down for New Mexico, so it's going to be all on this Mercy. And a great right-click Ball of Doom, taking out Yin on the Ashe, quickly followed by Griffin getting taken down by Slagathor, who gets a two-piece onto both tanks. Rama's doing their best to attack the backline, is able to take down the Lucio, but with no team remaining, he has to back off.
We were kind of a little skeptical of Supa trying to stay on this Symmetra, but when you're able to aim the orbs like that, I am sure that Colorado State is not complaining one bit. It seems like the top of this castle here, this high ground, has really been the source of a lot of these fights.
Yeah, now kicking things off with the rally and the Bob to answer once again, but Griffin's going to use his Gratific Flux and not get an elimination with it, but does lead to the elimination with those assists onto Tree, so that is able to take down the main tank. But a great Pulse Bomb coming out from Slagathor takes down both supports for New Mexico. That might just be the end of the fight for this, as Colorado State continues to hold the high ground and let the card be pushed, as New Mexico is not going for the contest. Even Finish gets the boop on Karama to take him out. Make that a triple, taking down Valkyrie and Yin, quickly followed by Tree taking down Griffin. There goes the Immortality Field, quickly followed by Brighthammer losing his life. And that's the second checkpoint ticked for Colorado State.
We actually see a swap being brought out here over to the Junkrat for the Lobos, and I do like that pick because we go from a very wide open aerial focused area of Eichenwald to a very enclosed space where these bombs can really catch the Rams off guard if they aren't paying attention. They already have.
Yeah, Finish definitely pushed up a bit too far. Brig getting too aggressive. No one's ever heard of that before, so now definitely going to have to go for the regroup and attack. They're gonna need to answer this Junkrat and focus him down, as we see Griffin now also on the Diva. But now with the Amplifier coming out and the Gratific Flux and the Sound Barrier and the Amplification Matrix, now the Photon Barrier coming out, all of the ultimates are being pressed, all of the Qs. There goes the Bongo, taken down by Finish as well as D-Mech Diva. But Slagathor will get the first blood onto Karama of that Junkrat. That's exactly what they need. Target those DPSs and they can continue to push in as the Valkyrie comes out from the Mercy. Just now ending as Slagathor gets the second elimination on the Valkyrie, pushing into those spawns with one member on the cart. They're taking that aggressive, which is what they need for this indoor space.
I like, especially when you got so much damage coming out from that supercharger, the way Supa has just been able to place these photon barriers, cancel out New Mexico's pushes, has been really key.
Yeah, the tire attempt did come out for Karama, but it was quickly dismantled as Beef gets an elimination onto the Lucio very early on. But now Kurama getting a two-piece onto both Tree and Dio. This is why they target down that Junkrat first. His DPS is unmatched indoors. He was followed by Valkyrie taking down Supa, and Yin taking down Slagather, winning the Cassidy 1v1s. Brighthammer finishing off Beef, even staggering out of the brig. That buys them a lot of time.
It isn't going to be too much time left for Colorado State. With just a little over 1 minute, they can probably have one, maybe two engagements here. The good thing is that they have a really good starter with this Gravitic Flux to engage. New Mexico not really close to anything. The only thing they're going to have is a self-destruct, which looks like they bring out immediately.
Yeah, huge six-man Gravitic Flux leading to the elimination of Yin by Slagather and taking down that Mortality Field so early on. And even the Diva Bomb in the backline not landing onto anyone is a huge misplay, but instead Kurama's going to answer it with his Riptire, taking down both Beef and Supa. 45 seconds remaining. They either need to wipe or regroup here as Valkyrie takes down Tree. They have time for one final team fight. They have that self-destruct, but they're going into the Amplification Matrix as Finish takes down Brighthammer, and Kurama gets the refrag for his teammate taking down Finish. If Colorado State can kill Junkrat, they win.
That's going to be the main focus. Might be able to lob in some sort of self-destruct. Of course, the key thing that allowed the Rams to push forward last time was a well-placed Photon Barrier to cancel out all of the damage that New Mexico is trying to push through, so we'll see how that works out this time.
Yeah, kicking things off with that Diva Bomb. Was not able to pick anyone up, but did zone them back as Karma gets first blood onto Slagather, but Supa is able to answer that by taking down that junk. So they have a chance as all of the ultimates come out of the Amplification Matrix. The Sound Barrier, Photon Barrier, but it's actually barely misplaced as they pushed right past it into the cart, trying to focus down that Doomfist of Finish. Finally will fall to Tree, so Colorado's doing their best to stay in this fight. Taking down the remaining members of New Mexico, trying to get the push, does get the Gravitic Flux off onto three members, leads to the elimination of Valkyrie, surprisingly. And now the tank swaps coming out for New Mexico as well. Slagather gets a two-piece of his own, as well as Tree taking down Griffin. Slagather makes it three-piece, taking down Griffin. Supa takes down Kurama, finishes off with a team wipe, and Tree finishes off Yin. So a great final push by Colorado.
A lot of credit to give to them for that push. And one thing I like here, you can see right there that Doomfist caught up in that Gravitic Flux. It wasn't just the damage from the Gravitic Flux, but those two turrets placed on the payload, like taillights even, just kind of really burned down all of New Mexico that was caught in that Gravitic Flux. It was a nice combo, and Colorado State definitely, we were so skeptical of them sticking on that Symmetra when their first few pushes didn't go through, but they found a way to make it work, and now they're sitting 3-0, but they're going to have such a good defense here. They have no time in their own overtime, so they're going to have to hold New Mexico here if they want to have a good chance of winning.
Yeah, I was very much expecting New Mexico to swap over to something like a Winston to deal with the Symmetra, able to take down her turrets just that much more quickly and answer all of the high ground on that second point when the cart began to move, and they just stuck with their team comps, which is something that we touched on earlier, is being able to change it up.
And thing is, we talk so much about Kurama from New Mexico being a star DPS, but really kind of the sleeper, their other DPS who was on the Ash for so long, was such a big pain because Colorado State would focus down Kurama but forget about this Ash that was just pelting them with dynamite and just raw damage. So it really is a situation where you have to take out both Kurama and Yin, and that could be hard here, as it looks like Kurama's going to be boosted with this Far Mercy comp.
Yeah, making sure to get right in the backline to split up the target prioritization for Colorado. Oh, so they definitely have a hard brawl dive comp. A lot of eyes going to be on Griffin to maintain that backline, but a great pick by Finish onto Giraffe. It's going to slow down this New Mexico push because this Pharah is very exposed at half health with no backline. We'll have to go back to the on and get healed as she gets stunned out. Kurama will get a second blood, onto Tree. The main tank is much more valuable than a Mercy because she comes back much quicker Now even swapping over to the D.Va as Valkyrie gets the next elimination on to finish. The main heals down as so many more members fall. Beef, Supra, and Slagathor get taken down in quick succession in a clean team fight from New Mexico.
And that definitely puts the Lobos in a much better position than Colorado State did. They're going to have 5 minutes to get to the first checkpoint here. It's all about, if we're looking at a position of this possibly going to overtime, is matching or beating the pace of the Rams. And the Lobos seem to be doing that very well so far.
Yeah, but with Kurama getting such an early pick onto Tree, but Beef answering that, we can hear the barrage come out, and Slagathor will end up falling off the edge, able to take down Supra on that Echo, who doesn't have that pocket mercy, so it's definitely in a losing battle against this farm mercy combo as Yin takes down Dio. New Mexico pushing up and taking a ton of space from Colorado, even having 2 members on the cart to make it go that much quicker.
Kurama's just going to be more than happy to just pelt damage right through those choke points there. New Mexico almost having, actually having a good amount of ultimate advantage right now. They're going to have 2 more online. It looks like Yin is going to use that pulse bomb and start things off all right, and a pick onto Dio too with a good nade.
Yeah, and we're going to kick things off with the Nano and Amplification Matrix and the Supercharger coming out. But instead, New Mexico is going to get a 2-piece, make that a 3, taking down the Baptiste, the Cole Cassidy, and the Orisa, quickly followed by Supra, able to answer with 1, but Valkyrie makes sure to stay in their back lane and take down Tree as Giraffe even gets the res onto Ying. So New Mexico still at full strength after taking the first checkpoint.
But it's not a guarantee that this sort of momentum can continue in this third part of the map because it is so different than the other 2 parts. There is a lot less area for this Farm Mercy to have free reign here. So if Colorado State can kind of mess up the comp that New Mexico has, they have a chance of holding here.
Yeah, they definitely have a huge time advantage with 5 minutes on their board to push this second and final checkpoint. Valkyrie even going to pop the Primal Rage and take down Slagathor, making sure they're not even able to leave that spawn door. So much free distance is being made up here by New Mexico. Colorado State's going to have to go for a near team comm swamp here for both tanks, their DPS. They need to use these 3 ults if they want to have a chance to answer the 3 ults of New Mexico. So the barrage is going to kick things off and finishes there to take down Kurama, and Giraffi's not even able to keep them alive as Yin comes in with a 2-piece with the Pulse Bomb onto Beef and finish as Dio takes down Bright Hammer, Griffin takes down Slag Hammer, and Suba takes down Valkyrie. Slagathor is still holding on to that. Deadeye is able to come back alive much quicker as Tree takes down the backline of Griffin trying to retreat, but Yin wins the 1v1 to just buy himself that much more time. But New Mexico sitting pretty with 4 minutes. They got time.
They definitely have a lot of time. I got to give a major shout out to Finish in the face of that barrage with the BAP just kind of sniping out New Mexico and putting an end to their airplay right now. And we see some hero swaps be brought out to take advantage of the enclosed spaces. Junkrat for New Mexico, Moira for Colorado.
Yeah, great engage from Tree with the mines leading to Slagathor getting the Deadeye elimination onto Bright Hammer. That's the main heals down, so this might be the end of the New Mexico State push as Tree takes down Griffin, and quickly followed by Supra taking down Valkyrie. Finish gets a 2-piece onto Yin and Giraffe, who swapped over to that Brig. So this is a near team wipe for Colorado State.
Now, by winning that engagement, they were able to burn probably 40 seconds off the timer. New Mexico started with about 4 minutes. So if you do kind of the math, that's probably about 4 team fights that are left, 4, maybe 5 if New Mexico is able to hurry enough here. This next team fight is going to be interesting because no one is really close. The only thing that's going to be online is this Pulse Bomb. If Super can get a pickup here, that could be enough for Colorado State to win this.
Yeah, Colorado has the brawl with that Zari. Going into a D.Va, can definitely burn her down, but now the Nano's going to come out onto Valkyrie, swinging as ready as it can, and a great Pulse Bomb in the back line does not land onto anyone, so now the Finish is going to have to pull out the Coalescence to keep his tank alive against that Nano, and we'll actually get an elimination onto Yindalis, and a great Shatter is going to come out, leading to Kurama getting an elimination onto Tree. So these constant trades back and forth means Colorado State is going to lose his fight with the longer it goes on, because of the spawn advantage from Colorado. Oh, but a great shatter coming out from New Mexico will give them the advantage as Dio's going to bring out the sound barrier to keep his teammates alive, and a great Deadeye once again taking down Brighthammer, and Beef is going to come out with a triple onto so many members of New Mexico that is a reset.
Basically, New Mexico all crowded around the payload. They used the sound barrier to get out of their spawn, let the Reinhardt swing his hammer back and forth, and just take out all of New Mexico. This is such a great hold from the Rams right now. They are going to have their work cut out for them even more now because New Mexico has such an ultimate advantage. Colorado State still is away from their ultimates. Once again, they're only really going to have the pulse bomb to start things off. Maybe a shatter. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, hopefully we see a great pulse bomb coming out from Colorado State so they can get the lead, but instead Karama's going to kick things off with a tire and pick up the Tracer, so there's no more pulse bomb as the shatter comes out, only landing onto 2 members, but will lead to the elimination of Valkyrie from Beef as Yin takes down Dio. Beef takes down Jirafi again as Finish uses the Coalescence to take down Brighthammer. A great flashbang play from Yin, but Finish will get a triple kill on this Moira. Mexico was able to shut down Super so early on, but they couldn't follow that up with anything else as they got shattered. So have to wait and see what happens next.
And the great thing for the Rams is now as we pass the 1 minute mark, they've burned off 4 minutes that New Mexico has. Remember, if this goes to overtime, Colorado State will be given a minute on the timer, so they have really evened out any advantage that New Mexico would have had going into overtime.
Yeah, so going to kick things off with the rally and Shatter. Shatter not landing on anybody, but the Diva Bomb in the backline will force out the Immortality Field. Even the Diva remake kill was an attempt there, but Yin will be able to win the 1v1 of the Cole Cassidy's and pop the Deadeye to just simply zone them away as Jirafi gets the boop elimination onto Beef, quickly followed by Karama now on the May, taking down Tree. The Deadeye coming out from Slagather will not lead to elimination, instead he will get eliminated, quickly followed by Dio. Karama on this May getting a triple to get them the point, and they have a minute 19, so they have that extra 19 seconds going up against Colorado.
And that was really good play from Colorado State's May here. You can see that they were going to try to bunch them all, bunch Colorado State up with the Graviton Surge. Actually, this is the fight before that, but it was the May wall that was thrown up right after the Graviton Surge that was able to allow New Mexico to stay alive through Colorado State's one key ultimate, and that's what allowed New Mexico to fight back once Colorado State had used all of their ammunition and take the point.
Yeah, New Mexico definitely playing to a huge win condition there and constantly changing heroes to match what Colorado State had was a huge win for this team. They were just finally able to be more flexible and change their comp, which is what so many teams in this league have an issue with.
But it makes me have to wonder, New Mexico did such a good job in this open air. I wonder if that gives them a bit more advantage for overtime. It's most likely going to take part in the first and second parts of the map, and Colorado State really only seemed to come alive against the Lobos when they reached the castle. So New Mexico might go for something more airborne based when they push, because it worked out so well for them in the regular part of the match.
Yeah, Jirafi plays a great Mercy and can keep the carry that is Karama alive so well. But when he was picked off first, that just bought Colorado State that much more time. So it seems that Colorado State's going to go with their own brawl comp of the Zarya Rhine, just speed boosting right into them. Even with the May Cole Cassidy, this is such a traditional brawl comp that we so rarely see. They are looking to cap this point as quickly as possible. As Slagather loses the 1v1 against Ian once again, Karama's going back to just try to capitalize on it, having that backline access, diving right in with the Doomfist, is not able to get anybody, instead gets picked off by Supra with those May right-click icicles, but with New Mexico essentially winning that fight and Valkyrie taking off Beef, they only have 15 seconds to regroup and re-push this point, and both amplification matrices are up.
And the thing that I liked that New Mexico did here is they really kind of read the situation that Colorado State had. We'll talk more about that, but it looks like we have one more team fight.
Yeah, both amplification matrix forced out, and New Mexico has the advantage because they can simply line of sight behind the car. Now the Meteor Strike's going to come in and land onto Finish. That's your main heals down. This might be a victory for New Mexico. Oh, but both Shatters are going to come out as well, and the grab is going to come out, but only 2 members of Colorado State are left on the point, and they're very low. Oh, Lucio is going to come flying in and quickly eliminated. Even Yin getting the flashbang elimination and a clean victory for New Mexico. Colorado State charged so many ults with their traditional brawl comp, but they were not able to cap the point in time.
Well, and I think the thing that allowed the Lobos to do such a good job, despite all the ults that Colorado State was throwing out, is, like I said earlier, they recognized the position that Colorado State was going to be in for this overtime. Having only 1 minute on the timer, the minimum amount for overtime, Colorado State, you knew that they were probably going to be bringing out that Lucio speed boost, moving as a team as fast as they could to the point. And what did you see? You saw Kuruma on the top of that archway with the Doomfist just waiting for them to run past him. So it seemed New Mexico knew where Colorado State was. They knew that they were going to be able to flank them in from all angles, and the combined damage of both of their DPSs coming in from multiple angles was just too much for the Rams to handle.
Yeah, so now going into kind of the end of the line for Colorado State on this map, they need to have a fantastic ult here, because New Mexico, if they're cleanly wiped, they might even have the possibility of, you know, 3 fights if it's just a clean sweep in the first time and maybe even the second time. But if it's a long brawl like we just saw, it might just be one team fight and people constantly trickling back into the fight, which I very much expect to do, because both these teams love going for the brawl, charging their ults as quickly as possible and using them.
Well, the good thing for New Mexico is this is where that extra 20 seconds really comes in handy for them. Because if you're thinking about 30 seconds per team fight, they will at least have a chance here to do a full reset if they are disciplined enough. Looks like Kuruma's going back to that old favorite comfort Genji pick. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, Suba with a great dynamite landing onto multiple members is able to take down Kurama first, which is exactly what they need to do. Quickly followed by Beef taking down Giraffe and also losing Valkyrie. That's the first push that you needed to secure that time difference. And Super, once again, with the dynamite, taking down the baby diva of Griffin, buys them that much more time with the stagger. So Super on this Ashe is definitely a threat, and with Dio on the Mercy, you know she's going to be a huge target for New Mexico.
We're going to see how New Mexico chooses. You see Kuruma is going to be using that flank, trying to deflect some of that attention that the Ashe is going to put up, because the Ashe can put so much damage through these choke points. New Mexico kind of has to divert all of that attention with Kuruma.
Yeah, and a great jump into the backline with the nano from Valkyrie, taking down the Super so early on, making sure Dio cannot go for the res as Yin takes down Slagather. Once again, these two players have a vendetta against each other as Brighthammer takes down B. Dio will get the res onto Supra and bring in the Bob, but it is not enough as he makes sure to just deflect everything. And a clean victory from New Mexico.
Yeah, that's one way to counter a Bob. I appreciate it. Well, a sponsor of Boise State Esports is the Idaho Army National Guard, who brings you the top 5 plays of the game and invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Well, despite the Rams not necessarily getting the victory there, they definitely shown that they have some fight in them. They managed to hold New Mexico for 4 whole minutes in what looked like almost kind of a hopeless situation on defense. So even though it is 2-0 in favor of the Lobos, Colorado State, I wouldn't count them out quite yet.
Yeah, and especially heading into a true just escort. On that third and final point, Colorado State can hold them. And as you mentioned, for 4 minutes, that's a feat within itself. And they just held it again and again and again. And their win condition is take down Kurama. And every time they did, they won the fight outside of that third and final point. When they were just trying to cap the point and getting up to that first checkpoint, they took down Kurama first. They won the fight. So you know that's Colorado State's win condition. And at the same time, vice versa for New Mexico to get a clean 3-0 sweep against Colorado State is keep Kurama alive, because he's your carry. Multiple times when they did Pharmacy, when Giraffe fell, they immediately held their push because Kurama didn't have his pocket Mercy. They had to wait. Afara can do a lot without a Mercy, but it practically doubles when he has that Mercy, and they're just playing around him. So that's what they need to wait for, is for him to be at his maximum capabilities.
Well, we will see if Colorado State can mount. They would have to do a reverse sweep from this point, but I think they might have it in them. We'll see if New Mexico can pull off the victory at match point. We'll take a short break and be back with round 3 escort after this.
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're currently watching our coverage of Mountain West Collegiate Overwatch Spring 2022 season. Right now, we have New Mexico State versus Colorado State. The Lobos versus the Rams. The Lobos have managed to win the first two rounds, putting Colorado State into a predicament, having to pull off a reverse sweep if they want to win this fight. We'll see how it works out for them. I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer, joined by Brenner Bear Ladd. And really, we kind of talked about it a little bit before the break, but the main story has been Karima on the Lobos side, the star DPS player diverting so much attention away from the Rams.
Yeah, he has definitely been the carry of their team, and I would be surprised if he wasn't also the shot caller, because you can tell when he calls a target, the rest of his team proceeds to follow him, or he says, go in, I got a pick, and they proceed to do so as well. They are 100% playing around him, and anytime Colorado State can take him down first, they win the team fight. So you know he is target priority 1 for them, and if they can take him down, they win the team fight, and they can possibly reverse sweep, as we touched for before the break, of Colorado has the fight in them. Whenever Kurama is essentially out of the fight, they can win it. They can definitely match the rest of the team of New Mexico, and it's all down to Kurama. So I won't be surprised for this next match if it's just kill Kurama game.
And as we can see, it looks like the choice is going to be Havana, no doubt picked by Colorado State. I think one benefit that Colorado State has is it seems their talent is, I don't want to say talent because every player here is good, a lot better than us two would be, but I want to say it seems like their star players is spread out a little more. I mean, they have good DPSs, but it's also their supports that can come in clutch. I'm thinking mainly of Finish, who has been able to turn around entire fights on like a Brig, getting a triple. So Colorado State really has staying power. It's all a kind of a matter of kind of try to play around the comps that the Lobos are setting up. But of course, that's just our advice. We want to give Doc's keys to the game to both of these players, and that's to never take fair fights, take fights in unexpected places when your opponents are unprepared and when you can have ability advantages. It's brought to you by Drop In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. You can play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. Go to dropingaming.com for more information. Ready to head into the third match right now. New Mexico State versus Colorado State. The Lobos versus the Rams in Overwatch. Lobos currently at match point. Colorado State would have to pull off a reverse sweep, but we have given a lot of reasons as to why Colorado State has a possibility, a chance of reversing everything here, and what specifically about the map of Havana might give them an advantage too.
Well, for the first and third point, it's so open, not being that indoor facility, that if New Mexico runs Kurama on that far Mercy, we saw Finish on the Baptiste make sure to break away from his team, throw down his Immortality Field, and focus down Kurama. Even when the barrage was happening on Eichenwald, he did exactly that. So we know New Mexico can just simply bring out all the hit scans and burn them down. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw even a battle of the snipers, or if they go for a close hold to brawl it out like they constantly have been doing. And it looks like they're going to do exactly that.
Colorado State is going to try their hand at the far Mercy, it looks like. And Finish, like I said, Finish is the one to turn engagements around, and doing some great play on that Zenyatta is going to bring it back to a 5v5. Colorado State now has fully respawned. Is going to try to push out again, make some space for himself with this Wrecking Ball, who is just going to go right toward the support and take out Bright Hammer. Now Yin and Giraffe are gone. Despite a good player that Kurama is, without the supports and healing, he's going to be the only one to get away as the two tanks are taken out for New Mexico. Colorado State gaining a foothold.
Yeah, Sligather has been on this Cole Cassidy practically in this entire matchup for the full length of it. So the rivalry between him and Ying has been going so strong, but seems that Finish on the Zenyatta is doing so much work. These teams have very clearly two carry players on their side.
Yeah, they essentially have a third DPS right now with the way Finish is playing, and Zenyatta kind of the most DPS-y of all the supports. So I like the play from Colorado State right now, as they're going to bring out their minefield to clear all the space around that first checkpoint. Psychophore doing work, picking up a double. Kurama is going to answer that back and try to turn things around with a double of his own, but a crucial res onto Finish could be what Colorado State needs to close this out, and by taking out Griffin, it looks like that is indeed the case. They're going to get their first checkpoint.
Yeah, New Mexico won that team fight as soon as it started, focusing down both Brighthammer and Giraffe. It seems like Agatha had a rougher start at the beginning, but he has definitely come online. And of course, as I say that, he gets taken down by Kurama on this Tracer. And I expect a little bit of a comp swap coming out from Colorado State, being indoors with a pharmacy, but they're going to use their ults first, which might win them the fight. And if they push the cart that much harder, it's going to put New Mexico on their back foot.
There goes the Gravitic Flux from Colorado State onto New Mexico. Is going to get a lot of their members kind of on that upper ground there. Colorado State still pushing the payload slowly but steadily as the barrage comes online for Supa. Despite being in a much more enclosed space, is still finding a way to make this far work out. This tree also takes out Kurama. Beef with a crucial pick as well. Now with both DPSs gone for New Mexico, all that's left is just kind of a final stagger that the Rams want to put onto the Lobos, and it looks like they do that successfully. A second checkpoint looks like it's in the near future for the Rams as well.
I'd like to point out the fact that it is 5 ults to 5 ults. 4-4 now, but Kurama with a good pulse bomb to try to kick things off, but immediately rezzed out. So it was an attempt. It was an attempt.
We're probably going to see a lot more attempts for good ultimates be brought out right now. And there goes the Shatter, but it goes right into the shield that the Sigma placed down. And the Transcendence is going to, by sure, keep the Rams alive through any damage. Oh. Look at Ian, though, with that triple Deadeye. What a crucial play from the Lobos. Colorado State not expecting that at all. Just kind of saying, hey, we have the Transcendence up. We'll be safe. Nah, Yin is going to prove something different.
This is what happens when you hold 5 ults. Valkyrie goes in with the initial super flashy Shatter right into the Sigma shield, and instead Yin just sneaks in the backline and gets an amazing triple Deadeye, which is something we almost never see from a Deadeye of all ults. So just so clean to watch, but Finish getting first blood. It seems that this fight has already been won.
Of course, we've seen one good Deadeye from the Lobos. Colorado State still has theirs available to use, so maybe try to match them. Now we'll see in a pretty dry fight with no ultimates. It's just going to be some classic picks from Supa, a double from him that's going to pick up the second checkpoint for Colorado State. Looks pretty unstoppable, only really losing one team fight so far.
Yeah, they've just had such a clean map. I can definitely see why they picked it with how well they are performing on it. We're at the third point, which is obviously the hardest with how close their spawns are, but they can definitely do it. Now with Kurama even swapping over to the Soldier, they're focusing down this pharmacy that survived from being indoors, just went unanswered. And the whole time New Mexico has had a diva, by the way.
And that Diva getting very close to that self-destruct. We also see Yin swapping over here to the Widowmaker, so we'll see how good Lobos can really click heads right now. But Beef is just going to use that Gravitic Flux to clear out some spot through this final choke point. Supa has been really kind of uncontested on this Pharah, just picking up pick after pick, especially when kind of your star DPS Kurama is gone. Colorado State just sees the green light and is heading toward the final checkpoint here. There goes the Amp Major. It's going to be thrown down by Brighthammer. Colorado State is just, look at the way they're judiciously holding their ultimates right now. They are going to have so much for this fight. It is insane, and they're going to start off with the Deadeye picking up 2, and that's exactly what the Rams needed. They are now just one few steps away from locking this attack up. Going to use the Barrage to get themselves the final security for that take, and they are going to go 3-0 with 2 minutes 40 seconds left on the clock. What an attack!
Yeah, Yin on the Widowmaker was not able to fulfill that role whatsoever. He was just being line-of-sighted again and again and again because they have both the Sigma Shield to just block him out right in his face, and they can just sit behind the other side of the car. And this replay of the triple Deadeye from Yin is why he should have stayed on the Cole Cassidy, because he was just doing so well on it. And then to swap over to a Widow where he did not get a single pick for as long as he was on it was definitely a misplay by New Mexico.
Especially when you consider it was the Far Mercy from Colorado State that was being so uncontested. Maybe he thought with the Widowmaker he'd just be able to get one very precise click against that Far Mercy and take them out, but really it just swapping off of that Cassidy and losing that kind of rapid DPS fire really in turn only let that Far Mercy be more uncontested.
Yeah, they definitely had free reign of the skies, and also New Mexico had a Diva the whole time, and I almost never saw her trying to fly into the face of that pharmacy to try to ground them for even a little bit. They were just sticking right next to their main tank, trying to absorb 1 or 2 rockets, which is not what you need to do as an off-tank Diva against a pharmacy. You need to be flying in their face, dealing as much damage as you can, trying to boop them around, split up the pharmacy combo if you can, which is very hard to do, but Colorado State even going for the close hold with the lone Rhine. May's kind of far behind him, so it seems Colorado State's pretty split right now.
Looks like they are able to group back up. New Mexico getting onto the payload. Nante's going to be heading out onto Beef, bring him down to about health. But the Bath throws out that Immortality Field to give the Rams a bit more staying power. Looks like a freeze was also brought out onto Griffin there that Tree capitalizes on. A pick from Yin means that it is 5-5 for both of these teams. Yin also getting very close on that pulse bomb, putting a lot of damage onto the Rams. Right now it just seems like it is a very drawn out brawl between these two teams. Their Monkey is going to try to go into the back line to get a pick, but it doesn't look like he is going to be too successful in that. Instead, it's going to be Brighthammer onto the front line of Colorado State, taking out their Rhine, that New Mexico is going to get their first win here.
Yeah, it was all Yin on this Tracer, just going straight into the back lane, forcing the tanks of Colorado State to pull back and try to defend them, giving New Mexico a lot more breathing room that they needed, because this Echo Mercy can only stay in the air for so long that it makes them just that much more vulnerable to the Colorado State's team. And I want to know what Slagathor's damage is right now, because that Soldier was uncontested for so long, just able to poke them down. Now even with the amplification matrix, it's going to get even higher.
And the ult charge definitely kind of represents how much damage he has been able to push out. He's just a little bit away from this visor, which has just gone online. He's going to take out Giraffe before he uses it. Look at Kurama there with the snipe through the window to take Slagathor out, even it back up for New Mexico. They are going to get close to their first checkpoint here. Batri is going to use his Gravitic Flux. Copy also being brought out by Kurama to copy Colorado State Zarya. Primal Rage also brought out by New Mexico, who's just using a little bit of everything to try to get this checkpoint. He is going to be able to take out Beef there and Tree eliminated as well. Without the tanks for Colorado State, a lot harder for their DPSs to survive, but a Blizzard to buy Supa some time, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, it was definitely a solid hold attempt coming out from Colorado State, but they definitely started to just trickle in at this point. Able to take down Kurama, who pushed up a bit too far. No res coming out from New Mexico either. Still stalling for that much more time. There's only 1:30 left. They have burned so much time away from New Mexico right now. 0.01, and they're still holding.
They're still managing to hold, and any time that they can bleed off from New Mexico is going to be time well spent. As this May is just with the cryo freeze, and she manages to get away too with the wall. That is insane how much Supa was able to dance around that payload and bleed even more time off from the Lobos.
Yeah, props to Colorado State with how much time they were just able to burn away from New Mexico, finally trying to take space and immediately trade out, losing that Yin. Will finally end up losing that Slagathor as well, but Colorado State should be sitting very pretty after the fight, and New Mexico has the ult economy to win this. They just need to start pressing Q to continue pushing this card.
But we've seen how good Colorado State can be on defense in these tight and closed spaces from their performance on Eichenwald. So I wouldn't be surprised here if just in the Rum Factory here they are able to hold them. But Valkyrie is going to start things off right for the Lobos, taking off Veep. Supa is going to be the next to fall thanks to Kurama. New Mexico now up 2 in this overall engagement. Finish though, been the one to turn things around and doing a very crucial pick on that Zenyatta. We hear Rez trying to be brought out. It is going to be Rez onto Kurama, who quickly takes out Finish. Colorado State still trying to hold a defense here with Supa getting rid of Kurama. New Mexico and Colorado State have just kind of been sniping out picks here and there. But overall, New Mexico about halfway to the second checkpoint.
Now, Colorado State seems to be playing very split, trying to take those 1v1s that they are consistently winning. So I just think that speaks to the individual skill of these players being able to play split as much as they are, but as well as the team skill of when they finally are together, they win team fights and they win them very hard. But people need to start pressing their cues because a lot of members of New Mexico have just been holding on to them, and now they have all 5, almost all 6.
It is going to be a very insane next engage here from the Lobos. They have a little under 2 minutes left, of course. I just have to wonder where Slagathor positions himself because he is going to have this visor, can also be damage boosted by the Mercy to just be a really nasty thing to deal with for the Lobos. We're going to see, and that's a very crucial pick there. They're going to take the copy out of the equation for this next fight, so now it's really only 4 ultimates, and despite being down in the ultimates, Colorado State is more proactive with their use. They ult first and use that Gravitic Flex to get a double. That is great play by the Rams.
Yeah, they went exactly on the targets that they needed to. The squishy backline of the supports. You saw Beef just look right past the people in front of him and say, hey, there's 2 supports back there with a tank who's slower than the rest of his team. I'm going to murder them. And did exactly that, which there's a minute left on the board. New Mexico needs, they have all 6 ults and they didn't use a single one to answer the one ult that was used by Colorado State. So you have to wonder, are they trying to win here? They need to start pressing Q, and finally they start with a Primal Rage.
They're going to start with a Primal Rage, but it's the minefield used by Colorado State that picks Griffin off, and now the Tactical Visor is also going to get rid of the copy that Kurama used. Pulse Bomb isn't going to pick up anybody. That is insane how Colorado State has still managed to hold. How many times have we said it? He who ults first, and Colorado State took that advice and used it to start every engagement off in their favor. Despite New Mexico saving up 6 ultimates, it's the Rams who hold defense.
Yeah, and also Colorado State has just gotten so much more value out of their ults. The New Mexico Echo duplicated onto the Soldier, died immediately. Colorado State duplicates onto the Ana and gets the Nano.
Now the Rams looks like they are going to be able to hold the Lobos here. They just need to win one more team fight. Tree taking out Griffin, and Yin also being focused down here. Valkyrie actually the one focused down with a lot of damage pushed onto him. Kurama with a double though, going back over to that comfort pick up the Genji. How can Colorado State focus him down? He is just tearing right through the Rams right now, and that it looks like it might just be enough for the Rams to hold here. I don't think they have the time to reset here. We're going to have to think. I do think the Lobos at least take this.
Well, it seems that the Lucio will be able to get there in stall in time. Taking down Finish as well is a good start, but losing Kurama on his main of the Genji, Colorado State has a chance, and they get it!
Look at that, using the minefield to just kind of basically force the Lobos to C9 off of the point. I like that. You force the other team to C9, and there you go. That's great play by the Rams. That was insane how they were able to have such a good defense there, especially in the face that New Mexico had so many ultimates and waited so long to use them.
Yeah, I think it definitely what cost them the win on that map. You could tell that was the map that Colorado State had played the most of compared to the prior two. They knew exactly where to look, what sidelines, where New Mexico was going to rotate through, and how to win those engagements. They had the better team comp. They weren't constantly swapping on and off. They knew what worked, what they could stick with, and even when they went to different points, they knew what they could work with, and they matched the Echo Mercy and then outperformed New Mexico's Echo Mercy. So huge props to Colorado State of just knowing your win condition, executing on it, and having higher individual level going up against a DPS like Kurama, who has up to this point been outscaling a lot of your team.
Well, if I was the Rams, I would want another win as fast as I can get it. And if there's any mode that's going to prove that sort of landslide gameplay, it is going to be Assault. It looks like it is Temple of Anubis, kind of the standard pick, kind of one of the more standard picks that we know of when Assault does come up. So Colorado State is going to have to play their hearts out, but it looks like they're well on their way to a reverse sweep here. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah, Temple of Anubis is the map that they needed to pick because it's going to go the fastest of the Assault maps. We're never going to see anything like Volskaya or the dreaded Paris that it is, just because of how much bigger those maps are for Assault of all things. So that's why everybody loves sticking to Temple of Anubis. And with how aggressive we've seen the Lobos be so far, I expect them to snowball very quickly through this. So we'll have to wait and see how Lobos can answer it. Sorry, Colorado State just snowballing right through this, because they've known their win condition, but this is a Lobos map pick, so hopefully they have a somewhat unique strategy to this rather than maybe something more traditional like, you know, the Baptiste up in the wall and holding that top ledge. And please don't go through the right side. Go anywhere else.
Well, it all depends if the defending team has a Junkrat that's been brought out, because that makes that right side a lot harder to get through. Or it depends on which way you're looking through it, too. It's technically the left side for the attacking team. But overall, it looks like the Far Mercy is going to be brought out by both teams here, so it's going to be interesting to see how they try to snipe each other out of the air. Kurama, though, is going to be distracted, though, by Colorado State, as one of their DPSs is trying to flank into the backline, diverting the attention of Kurama away from where Colorado State is trying to hold their point.
Yeah, Tree went right into the backline of New Mexico and managed to survive, which is very impressive. He was practically in their spawn and still got away, which is very impressive for a Wrecking Ball. And now Dio's making sure that to keep him alive, giving up the high ground as well. But First Blood will go over to the side of Colorado State, taking down Kurama as it's soon to be res back. Where both these teams have a Mercy. They're trying to brawl as best they can, and Finish will get First Blood with no res in sight as Dio is quickly eliminated by Ying. So it's back and forth as Beef takes down the next support, so no heals at all for New Mexico. This should be a solid put, or solid hold, my bad, from Colorado State as Slagathor gets a two-piece onto that Pharmacy. So good Soldier 76 plays.
And it's really impressive considering that this is kind of the harder point to hold as defense. When you get to that second point, your spawn is so much closer to the point that can be really difficult for New Mexico if they make it that to take it all in one go. So the fact that Colorado State is managing to hold here on the tougher point looks very good for them.
Yeah, even losing that Pharmacy so early on, now kicking things off with the Mines and the Transcendence and the Sights. Colorado State is using their ults as quickly as they can, showing New Mexico what's up, but now the Barrage is going to come out and take down both Finish and Beef, giving the advantage to New Mexico, being up 2 right now, only missing that Diva. Now missing 2 more as Tree and Suba take down 2 as a Revrek, and the Barrage coming out to take down Valkyrie. Colorado State is down but never out.
Looks like they're going to put a stagger on too, just kind of focusing down Bright here. Or actually the Tracer, who's trying to get away. Hopefully that doesn't take too much time away from the Rams. They're able to reposition where they want to. It does indeed look like that is going to be the case.
Yeah, and if you still look at the ults, New Mexico has the advantage, but will they even decide to press it? Whereas the Gratific Flux for Colorado State can be a game changer, because 9 out of 10 times he gets at least 3 people in it, and most of the time it is 2 of those supports. So now as Yin even takes down Suba, and Dio and Finish get taken down by the Primal Rage, the Gratific Flux comes out, will not get an elimination this time. Slagathor makes sure to even out, taking down Kurama, but will be rezzed right back. The Colorado State's focusing down this D.Va. Baby D.Va even gets the melee against B, so finally, on the third push with only a minute remaining, New Mexico will take it, but trying to stall out for Colorado comes flying in, and with the mines even takes down the Baby D.Va. Valkyrie gets the refrag onto Supa, and Yin takes down Dio, but Tree is still on the point, taking down Kurama. Antonade's trying to not let him survive that much longer. A great sleep to help him down, but now Spin to Win's coming out. He's very low. Not going to go down without a fight as Yin takes down both Finish and Tree, letting his team come back in time, but Slagather can't even touch the point as Dio once again on this Lucio gets back. They're buying, that's an extra 30 seconds from just trickling in alone, and finally New Mexico takes it.
Well, this is anything but a landslide for the Lobos. Colorado State proving to be such a tough team to go up against, and they're going to have some key defensive ultimates. Not only are they going to have the Visor, but the Transcendence also available for them. They might need that survivability as Yin gets a pick.
Yeah, the pick on the Wrecking Ball is definitely what you need, but you don't have that very much time until he comes back in. The sides is exactly what you need to answer the Valkyrie coming out from Giraffe as Supa gets the first pick onto Ying. Since Tree has already come back, make that the second pick as he also takes down Kurama. That's no DPS for New Mexico. Quickly followed by Valkyrie and Giraffe getting taken down by a great barrage in the back line, making that a three-piece for Supa, taking down Griffin as well. That's practically a team wipe if you ask me.
Well, the thing is that New Mexico, they tried to kind of interfere with that Visor that was brought up by kind of chasing the soldier into the spawn. The problem was that Far Mercy was on the other angle, and once New Mexico kind of turned their backs to that Far Mercy, Supa was just more than happy to just get pick after pick there.
Yeah, having that spawn advantage is the big strength of this final point on Temple of Anubis for Colorado State. And now swapping over to the Reaper. This is going to be a huge brawl. Giraffe even going over to the Brig. These teams are looking to fight it out and charge up these ults mid-fight, use them and keep fighting. But the poke coming out from Supa is so deadly, making sure to try to demech that D.Va who's been such a problem, and another great Cryptic Flux making sure to demech that D.Va as Ying gets the first pick onto Finish, but the mines coming out from Tree makes sure to get an answer, taking down Kurama as Ying takes down Dio as well. Has the Valkyrie to come back just that much more quicker as Slagather makes sure to take down Ying, so New Mexico is down a main member, make that two, taking down Giraffe and Brighthammer and Valkyrie and Griffin. That is the end of the push for New Mexico very quickly.
I just gotta say, Tree has been so consistent on placing these minefields down. They always seem like they're gonna look at that as soon as Kurama tries to use the Deadeye.
It was just in a 1v1. He has to swap off the Cassidy after that. It was just, he pressed Panic. Okay, there you go. Back onto the Genji main, which is understandable, but
yeah, maybe he realized he had to swap and just, you know, okay, I'm gonna use the ult at least before I swap. Anyway, though, not how Deadeye you want it to go.
Yeah, it died within the second he pressed Q.
Well, speaking of Qs, Colorado State looks like they're going to have the advantage for this hold at a very crucial time, too, as this could be the last team fight.
Yeah, if the Pulse Bomb forces out the Transcendence, you know Ying is always going to be targeting Finish, and now also the Valkyrie's going to come out from Dio, so both supports out from Colorado, and make sure to get the final elimination onto Finish, but Tree's getting a two-piece onto both supports and the main tank as Dio and Supa gets taken out, but Tree on this Wrecking Ball has mines as well, which can be such a game change, but he's not even going to need it as both DPS fall from New Mexico. They're going to have to go for another push with 10 seconds remaining.
And Tree's just going to be more than happy to drop the minefields wherever New Mexico. Yeah, he's just going to put them on the point, just basically force New Mexico, take away the option to even get on the point for them. We'll see how it works.
Yeah, so many members of New Mexico still trickling in, but now the Death Blossom and the Gratific Flux are going to lead to both supports of New Mexico gone. That has to be it. Mine's even getting elimination after being on the field for so long. Slagather taking down Kurama, Finish taking down Ying, finishes out Assault with a team kill. Colorado State holding against New Mexico for way too long. New Mexico just falling apart there.
Now Colorado State just doesn't have to, really has to only get one tick on their attack here, which is much easier than just being expected to take the whole point here. This is what we were talking about, all the attention that was given to kind of canceling out this Visor. Supa was just more than happy from a different angle to use this barrage and tear through everybody on the Lobos.
Yeah, so now with Colorado State on the attack and New Mexico having to defend, they definitely have to be feeling a little shaky after how well Colorado State was able to hold them, being down multiple members and yet still outperforming. This is something we see from Boise State, is they could be down 2 members and still win a team fight, going in at 4v6 even. So with Colorado State being able to outperform New Mexico like this again and again, this is going to be a hard defense.
Well, and it's like we said earlier, it's because Colorado State has so much great talent that's spread out. It's not just their DPSs, it's Tree on the Wrecking Ball, it's Finish on the Zenyatta. They are able to make flashy plays themselves and completely turn around fights with completely unexpected triple kills. So great job from Colorado. It seems like as long as one of their members is still in the fight, you never quite know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so hopefully we see something unexpected to keep us on our toes from these teams, but it seems we're going to be sticking with the pharmacy on both sides for these teams. I believe we do see an Ashe, but it's not a pharmacy, but they still have a Mercy, which is definitely interesting. Even the Tracer up on the perch in the corner, just waiting for Colorado State to push in, even knocking the Ashe off the ground, and Tree gets the first elimination onto Valkyrie. This Wrecking Ball is having the day of his life in the back line and even the front line. As Griffin and Kurama get 2 more to answer, but make sure to res back Beef as Finish takes down Kurama. So now Colorado State looking to just take this point very quickly, not even letting New Mexico have a chance to push them into overtime, as Zuba pushes forward with this pharmacy, taking down Yin, taking down the retreating Mercy, as Brighthammer coming back to point as a Baptiste, taking down Tree, surprisingly, as Supra makes sure to get that refrag. Beef getting the 1v1 victory against Griffin. Supra also taking down Kurama, who came dashing back all the way just to get eliminated. That was such a clean and kind of dragged out first fight that Colorado State can just possibly even snowball to the next point, as both DPS for New Mexico swap off.
And the crucial thing there was in that final engagement there, it was so drawn out between all the staggers that they got that just fed so much ult percentage over to Colorado State. They're going to have a lot of cool stuff to use here.
Yeah, and Tree with these famous mines gets the elimination onto Valkyrie again. First blood, losing your main tank is so crucial, and now with the barrage taking down the main heals and Finish taking down Yin, Kurama can only answer with the elimination onto Supra, but the Valkyrie's going to come out from Drafty and the sights from Slagathorn to cancel it out. Beef and Tree pick up 2 more onto that Mercy Echo combo, even demeching the Diva as soon as she touches the point, as Tree gets another elimination onto Brighthammer, and Slagathorn takes down the Baby Diva. That is the fastest snowball from Colorado State that we have seen on Temple of Anubis.
Well, great play by the Rams. They're going to drive it to a Game 5. They might just pull off their reverse sweep. It's really insane how much Tree is able to stand against the main tanks. You know, it's like he's like, I don't even need a shield to contest you on the main point. I'm just going to take you out as the main tank. He really shone through as a star player on Anubis.
Yeah, Tree matching the skill level that we see our own Matt Burke on this Wrecking Ball, just being such a force to be reckoned with, that he's one man and he still has 5 other players behind him constantly getting those eliminations. People like Finish, who on a support role are being counted as the 3rd DPS on a Zenyatta, which is very unexpected, being the highest DPS of a support player, which is super unexpected. So Colorado State playing to their win condition of, we have better team play. We might not have the better individual level of constantly losing a lot of those 1v1s, but if they were able to take 2v1 fights, they were guaranteed to win them. And then even when the later win, the stronger they became, and New Mexico was slowly falling apart.
Well, with such a tear that Colorado State's on, I see no reason to wait. Let's just get into the final map. It's going to be Lijon, which is picked, and seems pretty unstoppable. It seems like Colorado State definitely enjoying kind of those enclosed areas to fight in. At least on the tower map, they are going to have a great time, but they can also be a very insane far mercy as well. So it doesn't seem whether it's enclosed or open. Colorado State has all the momentum right now. Once again, you are watching Colorado State versus New Mexico State. The Rams versus the Lobos in Mountain West Collegiate Overwatch. Both of these teams are definitely proving that they do not want to be counted out in terms of all the attention. It shouldn't just be Boise State and UNLV. These 2 teams want to be known as well, as we're ready to head into Lijon right now. Looks like Night Market is going to be the one brought out first.
Yeah, so I would hope to see at least one team going for the Simbrel, maybe even the Bastion play teleporting to get there just that much quicker, but we know just from the audio cues, one is sticking to that farm Mercy comp. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even Colorado State after winning on Temple of Anubis so strongly, and New Mexico is going for the teleporter play right into Tree.
It's interesting, Colorado State not bringing out the Sim teleport right now, so that's just basically giving up the point to New Mexico first, who was able to push out all the tourists. But look at Supa, he's just going to fire right through the windows with the Far Mercy and take out Kurama. Immortality Field also eliminated by Slagathor. New Mexico might be the ones to take the point first, but I was telling you, the Far Mercy, they can do a great job, the Rams can, and it's just going to be one after the other, basically all of the Lobos taken out and Colorado State getting the point first.
Yeah, they might have had those turrets set up, but it did not matter to Tree and Super, who can just poke you down and jump right on top of you and get eliminations, which led them to be +2 in that fight. And at least New Mexico is able to change their roster off that Symmetra very quickly, not going for that Eichenwald strat of Symmetra or die, which did work for them on Eichenwald, but not here on Lijiang Tower, where when you're constantly pushing the same point, it's not going to work.
Just look at this. Supa already having this ultimate online, whereas New Mexico, the highest charge they have is only 60%. It is such a difference, but it seems like despite not having any ultimate, some great play by Kurama and Griffin. Kurama picking up at least a triple kill there is going to be enough for them to get on to the point.
Yeah, that was definitely a clean re-engage fight after losing so hard in that first fight. They changed up their DPS, came with it re-engage, and just almost rolled over Colorado State with how well they've performed. But now they have to be ready for the 4 ultimates of Colorado State, almost all 6, because the other 2 are above 80%.
Finish being a great support. They're getting the first pick onto Giraffe. Yin also eliminated. Now Kurama gone as well. Both DPS is gone for the Lobos. No more real huge damage to push onto Colorado State as they get back onto the point. Finish taking out Bright, and the eliminations are going to keep on rolling for the Rams. You also see Tree having his favorite, the minefields available. A self-destruct thrown out by Griffin is not going to clear out the point at all. Unfortunately, an ult that goes nowhere for the Lobos, whereas Colorado State's, their ultimates are getting picks, but Kurama trying to turn this around with a double, brings out the copy. Will he be able to bring out the minefield? Just try to throw out those mines. No, at the very last moment, Supa takes him out. That is such good play by this Far Mercy.
That whole time, at the very start of the fight, they committed the Transcendence to answer with New Mexico throwing out the Diva Bomb that didn't get any value. And Colorado State starting off with the 4 ults, now has the 1. So Tree's been holding onto the mines the whole time.
But you have to give it to the Lobos, still managing to maintain control of the point despite all the wins that the Rams have been getting. New Mexico managed to get their charge up to 71%.
Yeah, this non-stop brawl trickle. You know, 3 members now pushing the point, not having the other 3, forces out Transcendence, gets the mines. That's value.
Colorado State now trying to get their charge up as well, but they aren't going to have too many ultimates. They got to rely on the mines that Tree has thrown down. Valkyrie is going to be eliminated. Finish getting the pick onto Kurama as well. With that crucial DPS gone, it is all down to Yin, who isn't actually even going to go for the flank right now. And with Giraffe being knocked off the edge too, now Dio also getting an environmental. That means New Mexico, will Yin be caught out and trying to get away? Can this Tracer get away? It looks like they do manage to get back to spawn.
Yeah, and if we're looking at the ult economy, New Mexico has the advantage and will engage with their own mines, but Valkyrie's going to have to try to match Tree.
Yin actually ran into Colorado State's own spawn to get away, and now that New Mexico has pushed in from their own spawn, Yin flanks them with that pulse bomb and is able to help the Lobos get back the point. That is not the way I would have expected that, but hey, it works.
Yeah, so now even preventing the overtime, charging up 25% remaining. Colorado State just needs 1 solid push, and with them having 3 ults on the board to New Mexico not having 1, with the closest being the Diva Bomb, which is one of the slowest charged ults in the game, things are looking very good for Colorado State. They just need a simple 1 or 2 picks, and that can sway it, and Tree will do that.
Yeah, that Gravitic Flux taking out Kurama as well. That survivability, that transcendence is going to be crucial. Colorado State is basically uncontested, and they can survive through that self-destruct, take out the Baby Diva while she's out of her mech, and that looks like it's going to do it. The Rams might just maintaining the win there, but 99-99 essentially means that this could still be a very close game.
Yeah, the tail and the mass suicide coming out from Colorado State as the victory jump off the edge, but they played, that was such a close map, probably the closest that we have seen between these two teams of just how back and forth. You mentioned it was practically 99-99 with Colorado State just getting that fair 100, but this back play, as we mentioned, from Yin getting the pulse bomb onto the soldier from his own spawn to go back and hide was fantastic, which allowed the Lobos to retake the point.
Again, I need to restate, not his spawn, Colorado State's spawn.
Exactly, like the one place you would not expect him to go, he went there to stay alive, to wait for the rest of his team to just go for that pincer maneuver, and it paid off.
Here we go. It looks like New Mexico is not going to waste any time. Kurama wants to get a flank with this Doomfist. Colorado State, though, looking pretty good here, throwing down the Immortality Field, looking a little less good now that Yin manages to get the pick. Dio and Beef are eliminated. Now the Lobos look like they're going to be the first ones to push on to the point. Colorado State recognizes they're going to have to reset.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Baptiste was able to out-survive the Doomfist combo coming out on him. We'll end up finally falling to the Flame Strike, but he's survived very long and just now capping the point. New Mexico got a little bit too aggressive there, waiting just that much longer.
Well, with it being 99-99 beforehand, any sort of ultimate charge that's any point charge that's given up could be very crucial. But right now, New Mexico just looks to be pelting Colorado State through these choke points, using the damp matrix to great effect. Yin also picking up a double.
Yeah, Colorado State, I would expect them to swap off the Symmetra here, just being that Ying has so far out-Symmetried you, and you're also going into a Doomfist with a Cole Cassidy, so going to be playing around that flashbang. Kind of an interesting amplification matrix, but immediately swapping off of it so you can't even get the value. But now with Slagathor back on the Soldier, who did very well, and practically a whole team comp swap other than Dio on this Lucio.
Kurama now just going to try to make some space with that Meteor Strike. They just have their backs turned to him. He's going to try to take out that Reinhardt. He's now just going to go into the backline right of Colorado State. Doesn't look like he is able to pick up anybody, and kind of going too far into the backline might have opened things up from the Rams here. They're going to just push right past that car wash. There's Slagathor now getting a pick onto Brighthammer. Valkyrie also being taken out, and the Rams getting the toehold they were so desperately looking for, managed to take back the point, and it all leads to just Kurama going a little bit too far into that backline.
Yeah, New Mexico got way too aggressive there. We saw that early on before they even capped the point. They were just continuing to pushing to their spawn before even capping the point. But this is control. You need to start building that ult percentage as quickly as you can, and they just were not respecting it. And then DPS push into their spawn, get eliminated, lose main heals, and that's the fight in Colorado's favor. So now they're building ult percentage, holding a bit further back, allowing the ults to come out from New Mexico.
They're using 2 of their ultimates, 3 of their ultimates basically at once, and Kurama just tearing through Beef and Dio, no doubt caught out in that Graviton surge that Griffin threw out. That's going to be enough, just a very kind of classic throughout the Graviton surge. Have your damage follow-up. New Mexico takes back the point.
Yeah, back and forth, back and forth. Passing that 80% marker means New Mexico is sitting very pretty right now, so we got time for about one more team fight if they want to be able to try to get to that point. Finally going for a different rotation point, allowing them the possibilities to take this away, and with a tire, hopefully timing it, able to pick up 1, maybe 2, at least the one of the main tank, they have a chance.
Hey, I'd be happy with that pick right now, and it indeed looks like it's going to be enough for the Rams to get back onto the point. They're going to drop the mines right on the point as well. It's going to pick up 2. Now Colorado State looks like they have taken back the point for themselves, but they are going to have a huge hold here if they want to pull off this reverse sweep they've been looking for.
Yeah, they have a definite chance at doing so. They just have to be able to be ready for that Shatter, which can definitely be a game-changing ult, especially with New Mexico being at that 99%. They just need 1 or 2 picks, and they can take it away. So, you know Tree's looking at that backline, trying to find his juicy target to jump down.
Look at that. Look at that from Slagathor. That visor just tearing through the health that was dropped by that sound barrier. New Mexico has nothing left in terms of ultimates, and Colorado State manages to hold in a very crucial fight.
Yeah, they had that wombo combo of the sights and the gratific flux as the immortality field came down. So he took them right out of it, and even when they came slamming down to the ground, the immortality field had already been burned down by the rest of his team, and Tree continuing to with his wrecking ball shenanigans as they're just trying to push through that spawn door.
I mean, Tree is very close to his minefield. If he can charge it up and then just drop the mines, that would be such a crucial time to just take the point away from the Lobos who are trying to retake. He does get his minefield online. He will no doubt drop that at just the right time. Slagathor also poking with a lot of damage, and there it goes, the minefield right onto the point. New Mexico can't push on, and Supa picking up a double. What a hold by the Rams, and a reverse sweep on top of that. Can they close it out now?
Great deny by Kurama on that tire. As soon as he drops down, just left clicks, and there it goes. But Slagathor getting a double. Make that a triple. That might be it.
That is indeed it. The Rams pull off the reverse sweep and win against the Lobos.
Poor Lobos. They had such a strong opener, and just clean sweeping it from behind. Colorado State recognized that, all right, we need to focus on Kurama and then right on to Brighthammer. And then he did that again and again and again. And Tree just got his momentum going on Wrecking Ball and was unmatched. So Colorado State, a very well-deserved win.
All right, well, if you want to join the Boise State esports family, Boise State is always looking for top talent along with good grades and eligibility to join our esports team and production roles as well. Go to boisestate.edu/esports for more information. Okay, I got to ask you quick here because it's getting close to the top of the hour, 7 o'clock, which is Boise State having their own Overwatch match. So really quickly, I want to ask you who your nominee for the player of the game is.
Tree or Dio? Dio being that backline Mercy, keeping Supra alive in that farm Mercy combo, doing so well for Colorado State, which helped them bring back the win. Has to be one of those two.
Yeah, it could be. Colorado State had so much talent spread out across all of their teammates that it really could be anybody. I would definitely give it to Tree. Finish also, despite being a support, was basically a third DPS for the Rams, so he was able to pick up some great plays as well. We are going to see who takes it away, though, and it actually is going to be Yin, who did such a good job, was really kind of the second. We were talking so much about Kurama, but Yin was a sleeper DPS that when you weren't paying attention could really tear through your team.
Yeah, he was always winning those 1v1s on the Cole Cassidy between him and Slagathor for the longest time, which is how they won those first two maps so dominatingly. But as soon as Slagathor swapped over to the Soldier 76, Yin was not able to win a lot of those without the help of that pulse bomb, as we see in the replay. So it was a huge matchup between these two players who definitely had a feud going on because you could tell that they were always targeting each other.
Well, he's going to be the ICCU player of the game, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Yin is your ICCU player of the game. Well, as I said, it is just a few minutes before the top of the hour, and that's when Boise State is going to be set to take their own Overwatch match. So we're going to take a quick break and be back with that action. We'll leave you with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Enjoy the top 5 plays of the game. What a series between the Lobos and the Rams, and we'll be back with Boise State's Overwatch match right after this. In the future, that it really is a dependence on whether Finish does have that rally online that they're able to try to push through these choke points. Unfortunately, Slagathor, it seems like the flank attempts from both of the tracers for both these teams have been caught out early, and right now Kurama's going to try his own flank here, quickly runs away.
Yeah, the Doofus came because of the spawn advantage from Colorado. Oh, but a great shatter coming out from New Mexico will give them the advantage, as Dio's going to bring out the sound barrier to keep his teammates alive, and a great Deadeye once again taking down Brighthammer, and Beef is going to come out with a triple onto so many members of New Mexico that is a reset.
We're probably going to see a lot more attempts for good ultimates be brought out right now. And there goes the Shatter, but it goes right into the shield that the Sigma placed down, and the Transcendence is going to by sure keep the Rams alive through any damage. Look at Yindo with that triple Deadeye. What a crucial play from the Lobos. Colorado State not expecting.
Ball is definitely what you need, but you don't have that very much time until he comes back in. The sides is exactly what you need to answer the Valkyrie coming out from Giraffe as Super gets the first pick onto Ying. Since Tree has already come back, make that the second pick as he also takes down Kurama. That's no DPS for New Mexico. Quickly followed by Valkyrie and Giraffe getting taken down by a great barrage in the back.
Clear off the point at all, unfortunately. An ult that goes nowhere for the Lobos, whereas Colorado State's, their ultimates are getting picks, but Kurama trying to turn this around with a double. Brings out the copy. Will he be able to bring out the minefield? Just trying to throw out this mine. No, at the very last moment, Supa takes him out. That is such good play by this Farmer seed.
second chance, trusted you again, I feel shattered. Broken strings cause you play me like a violin. Shame on me for all your 7 deadly sins. Had it all but you craved attention, drowning in your own reflection. Put me down just to see me get back up again. 6 feet under and you're ready to give all the pain. If I was your new addition, you make me part of your equation. Shattered from the past, wish you were my last. Shatter me to pieces like broken glass. Frozen looking at pictures that we took back in the summer. I thought that I would remember how it used to feel, but this isn't real. Now we're over. Take it all, there's nothing left here anyway. We used to talk, but now we don't know what to say. Now we're just 2 passing strangers. We tried, you lied, goodbye forever. Put me down just to see me get back up again. 6 feet under and you're ready to give all the pain. If I was your new addition, you make me part of your equation. Shattered from the past, wish you were my last. Shatter me to pieces like broken glass.
Came from a broken home. I've seen so many people go. Learn to make it on my own. It's easier for me to be alone. So how are you? Keep cutting through, claiming you're not like the other guys. And only if I could give you a chance, show me that you mean it, won't feel some type of way.
Welcome to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're watching Mountain West Overwatch collegiate coverage. Boise State is ready to go into their match against New Mexico State. Lobos versus the Broncos, sure to be a very fun and entertaining match for us all tonight. I am your host, Jacob Jem Palmer, joined by Brenner Bear Ladd as we get ready for the Broncos to take on the Lobos here. It's going to be a tough match for the Lobos because we just saw them have a very bitter defeat against the Rams from Colorado State, suffered a loss going into the reverse sweep, and now they're going to have to reset it all to go against one of the arguably top teams in the league, Boise State.
Yeah, talk about an uphill battle for the Lobos going into this. I mean, after Boise State winning the championship last year, and now you're going up against the previous championships after losing to Colorado State, who Boise State has beaten. Things are definitely not looking good, but after having so much practice up against Colorado State, you know that they're very warmed up coming in against Boise.
Boise State is going to start off right here. It looks like they're actually starting off in the red, it looks like, with the Lobos in the blue. Now here we go. We also see Nerdy here. He's been a player with Boise State Esports for a very long time, but their career is almost at an end at the end of this month, so we're hoping we see some great plays from them to kind of close everything off. Looks like they're going to be going on to the Hog, which always have some fun stuff happening on the Hog. Maybe we can see a choice environmental or two. I'd be really happy to see that, but right now it looks like Boise State's the first one to get control of this point.
Yeah, they got a ton of those picks really early on. We saw right at the tail end, being able to pick up one, make that two, taking down Frost on the Echo. Just trying to swing in their favor as Brighthammer still on that support, but no longer on the main support. Able to pick up two, actually taking down Plato and Nerdy. He is able to cap the point with Boise only getting that 24% and Chosen not even able to get away.
And unfortunately for the Broncos, that is a nasty stagger as well, with Chosen being taken out. So Frost is going to be the one to kind of maintain this soft reset, trying to get some chip damage here while the Broncos get ready to fight again.
Yeah, and it's going to kick things off with Yin once again getting such an early first pick, this time onto Frost on that Echo with no pocket mercy, and a great gratific flux coming out from Plato, able to set up a lot of members, but will not lead to elimination until he takes down Yin. So that is definitely the +1 that Boise State needs, especially taking out that Deadeye out of the picture, and Gucci taking out the Immortality field with the Amplification Matrix should lead to elimination, but it seems like New Mexico is simply going to line of sight it. But Boise State so close to so many ultimates is going to be able to get the Transcendence out from Brighthammer, trying to keep as many teammates as they alive. But C6 will end up falling quickly, followed by Chosen taking down Valkyrie. Yin's able to get the refrag onto Chosen as Karuma takes down the duplicate, but Frost is able to take down Brighthammer. And a great Deadeye to take down Nerdy as Gucci takes down Chosen. It is back and forth between these two teams, but it seems Boise State is barely going to be able to edge out New Mexico as they get the 2 pick from Plato onto both DPS.
And the wave from Plato as well, and he's going to be able to start this off so well. They actually have 2 great kind of CC ultimates to kind of keep New Mexico off of the point here. So either it's going to be this Gravitic Flex or this whole Hog that's going to be brought out. It means New Mexico's going to have a tough time stepping onto the point for this next fight.
Yeah, now kicking things off with the Supercharger, and Boise State answers it with their Rally. But make sure to take down the Supercharger so quickly with Chosen using those Hero Rockets. And another 3-man Gratific Flux, setting up the members for Nerdy to go right in with the whole Hog. And Plato even gets the elimination onto Valkyrie as Frost ends up falling through the center. Chosen comes in with the sights and gets a triple, making sure that New Mexico is not going to be able to leave their spawn, poking them as they're walking out.
Yeah, it looks like he actually managed to catch New Mexico out in a rotation that they were making, because he kind of took a flank route there and just kind of, it seemed like, ran into 2 members of the Lobos. So now New Mexico here is going to at least, they're going to have more resources this time than they did last time. So maybe with this Flux, they can catch Boise State out, and we'll see how well they aim it.
Yeah, making sure to poke them as far as they're pushing, and so Gucci's going to initiate with the Amplification Matrix, making sure they can buy that much more time with only 10% remaining. Should be able to hold this, but New Mexico does have the tools, and they're going to go right in with the Gratific Flux, able to pick off Nerdy, quickly followed by taking down that Immortality field. Now Transcendence coming out and their own Amplification Matrix. New Mexico is pushing right into Boise State, able to take down Frost, Gucci, and Asu and Plato. trying to go for that team wipe, but 2 members were able to survive thanks to the respawn timers.
Boise State is only really going to have 1, maybe 2 fights, though. No, it's going to go past 80%, so that's really only 1 team fight they have left. We see a swap also be brought out by Nerdy, so Boise State is instead going to go double shields here, kind of mirroring New Mexico here. It's really going to be the DPSs that determine what's different in this fight.
Yeah, and with the great engage onto the tanks of New Mexico, Boise is looking to get that first pick, and they will get it onto Valkyrie, quickly followed by the pulse bomb going onto Griffin. So no tanks, they can go right into that back lane, taking down Ying and Brighthammer as Frost finishes off C6. Boise gets the point, still overtime, so now New Mexico has to continue to trickle in to keep this overtime going if they want a chance at winning. But Chosen taking down Karuma, finishing off this Wrecking Ball, who comes flying in. That is the Valkyrie. The Chosen once again engages the sights as they're rotating to point, takes down the Lucio, as Nerdy takes down Valkyrie and Asu takes down Griffin. Z6 is able to take down Chosen as Plato also finishes off Ying, but none able to get to the point in time, so Boise State barely is able to win that first map.
Ooh, just by the skin of their teeth, but it looks like they managed to do it, as we're going to see a replay here kind of go over Boise State just managing to hold on to the point at a very crucial time. Chosen bringing out that visor and just not really allowing any of the Lobos to even get to the point with it.
Yeah, Broncos played that very solid. Once they had the point, they made sure to push up and constantly poke the Lobos down as they tried to rotate to the point, and just trickling in, trying to stagger and just keep themselves in the game, more unable to do so. So now going over to the Lighthouse, hopefully they can play this a little bit differently.
This was a spot where we're looking back at Nerdy's career. Nerdy had a great way to kind of deal with a Far Mercy here by using the self-destruct off the edge of the map. I'm sure that's one of the replays we'll see when we're honoring them later on this year. But right now, not going to bring out the Diva for that self-destruct. Instead, is going to be going with the Zarya. So we'll see how that works out, because Boise State's the one to use the Far Mercy.
Yeah, it gets first blood onto Valkyrie, so down a main tank. New Mexico is already going to have to play much further back, unable to really contest the point. Boise State needs to make sure to also get on the point and start capping it to build that percentage. But instead, Karuma takes down Chosen very early on, not having the pocket mercy of Asu to keep himself alive, so possibly this might be a battle mercy, as he was actually on Frost of the Echo, so he has 2 targets to focus. It seems this Echo is paying off as he gets a 2-piece onto Karuma and Brighthammer, quickly followed by Valkyrie falling. But Yin is able to get the refrag onto Nerdy, as well as Griffin taking down Gucci. Asu is there with the res as Plato gets the elimination onto Griffin, so it still concentrates, but now Boise State has capped the point and is up to 20%.
Yeah, kind of a new addition to the Boise State lineup is going to be Gucci Gilbert here. So we'll see how they do filling that BAP role. Right now, though, look at that. That pulse bomb is just going to be used to take out the immortality field.
Yeah, and even going for the 2-piece onto the Valkyrie and Brighthammer. It seems this BAP is on the DPS roll, so it's all eyes on Asu to do the healing, but he might even be going Battle Mercy. So Boise State is going for all-out aggression as Plato gets the melee onto Griffin. Passing 50%, not many team fights left.
So I actually do have a bit of information. Gucci is actually Gob. That's what we normally know him as, but just a little bit of a swap over, I suppose, in terms of gamer tags. Right now, Chosen is going to fall off of the edge, unfortunately, but Yin is also going to go off the edge, too. So 1 DPS gone for both teams.
Monkey see, monkey do. Oh, but now Monkey's angry and is going to go for the Primal Rage right onto the point. That was a perfect lineup for my saying, as Nerdy is able to demech Griffin, but Frost is able to secure the elimination onto the Baby Diva, quickly followed by Valkyrie with the Primal Rage, knocking Nerdy off the edge. And a great EMP is going to end up landing onto the 2 members of Boise State, of Plato and Gucci, but only Plato will end up falling to the Yin. But New Mexico, still having the 5 members live, is going to be able to finally secure the point as Frost gets the elimination. Boise State, even being down members, will continue to fight as the duplicate onto the Tracer did come out, but he did get hacked, so he's not able to capitalize it and will get eliminated by the Yin. This team fight continues to go on. Nerdy is taking a lot of poke from Kurama on this Tracer, who's just been such a nuisance, but instead Asu will get the res onto Frost, keeping his precious Echo alive. So now the Gratific Flux is going to come out from Plato onto 3 members, leading to Frost getting a 2-piece. Xena was only able to pick up 1, so now Kurama's getting to throw the Pulse Bomb, but Chosen shows him how it's done with a triple Pulse Bomb of his own. Kurama gets a 2-piece from the melee. Both these Tracers are on a triple kill.
It's a Tracer v Tracer battle. It's Kurama versus Chosen. Who's going to be the Tracer that wins? It is, in fact, Chosen. But does it enough for Boise State to actually take back the point? It seems Kurama stalled them out long enough that Boise State's going to have to fight one more time.
Yeah, Gucci and Chosen able to take out the 2 trickling in members of the main tank. Now both supports are gone on make that both tanks. It's only the 2 DPS. Lucio's trying to speed back as quickly as he can, but 92% and closing. Nerdy even able to finish off the retreating Yin trying to jump off the edge. That might be it for control as Boise State pushing, getting aggressive, and secures control.
Yeah, that was actually a very crucial pick that Nerdy pulled off there. I was really the only member of the Lobos that was near the point and would have been able to contest it, so getting that stagger, very good play by Nerdy.
And it seems Plato will get play of the game on his Sigma, who had so many Gratific Fluxes, constantly getting 3 members, even the elimination sometimes. Of course, we see Frost falling off the edge there, but this is where Chosen came in with the sights and cleaned up shop. Great play by Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State looking to start this off right against the Lobos, but I gotta say the Lobos really look like they are gonna give the Broncos a fight as they were able to take some team fights there. Well, proud sponsor of Boise State Esports is the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Well, now it looks like we're going to head into the second match. I think that we will take a short break between these maps, give the Lobos a little bit time to think. If you were to choose a map, what would you choose? I'll just ask you very quickly.
For hybrid, I would love to see Blizzard World, actually. Since we've seen so much Eichenwald, change it up.
Well, we'll see if that's the case. We'll take a short break, be back with more Boise State Esports. Don't want to go away.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're watching our coverage of Mountain West Overwatch featuring Boise State going up against New Mexico, the Lobos versus the Broncos. And right now the Broncos have gotten their first win, looking to continue their victory tour of the Mountain West tournament. We're going to see if they can do that. So we are ready to head into the second match, which is going to be hybrid. I'm your host, Jacob Jim Palmer, joined by Brenner Bear Ladd. And overall, the Lobos look like they might actually be able to give a fight to the Broncos because they managed to take a good number of team fights despite Boise State's win.
Yeah, they were definitely coming out the gate very aggressive with matching the veracity that Boise State did. And as you mentioned, they won a couple team fights and were able to get a lot of percentage on the point. The first map on Ilios, they got to the 99, so they were neck and neck, but Boise State very much brought it back and got a much closer of a clean sweep on the second point of Lighthouse. So now heading over to hybrid, I expect it to hopefully be a much more closer and maybe even get past the first control point if they're able to cap it.
And especially Kuruma, the DPS for the Lobos. It looks like it's going to be back to the old favorite Kings Row for hybrid, but Kuruma still being such a crucial DPS and a real threat against the Broncos. And that actually gives us kind of the opportunity to look at the overall lineups for both of these teams here. So we can see the lineups are going to be brought to us by Count. Count Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enables personalized customer experiences for more than 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. As there we can see there, we were just kind of talking about Kuruma being a very key pick for the Lobos being a DPS that kind of got into a fight with Boise State's own Tracer to see a Tracer v Tracer battle, so that was really fun. And of course, on the Boise State side, we want to give a special shout out to Nerdy Bird as we are kind of focusing on the end of their career. They're going to be finally retiring and moving on to better things, and we wish them all the best of luck in their future careers. So hopefully we can get some great last plays from Nerdy before the end of the month. So we'll be watching out for the rest of this fight.
Yeah, and on Kings Row, it can definitely happen, especially with Boise State's past. They've had some very cheeky plays, and we've seen so much Eichenwald in the past. It's both interesting and sad to go back to Kings Row because we know so much about Kings Row, and I was hoping some more variety of Blizzard World. But going back to Kings Row is definitely could go for the Statue of Liberty player if we're just going pure cheese and having the most fun in our lives. But sometimes it can definitely catch teams off guard and can be the winning strike because then you can immediately transition into the pirate ship. So I'm curious who will be attacking first and how New Mexico will answer that, because they definitely had a huge issue with how aggressive Colorado State could be and how long those brawls had gone. So Boise State is able to get a couple picks really early on and just clean sweep those fights. It's going to put New Mexico on their back foot.
Well, we'll see. I really don't blame New Mexico for going with this pick. You know, you just kind of go with the map that everyone has played, just kind of the one that everyone just kind of plays normally in scrims. You know that you need to pick up a victory, so you might as well go with what you are most used to playing. Of course, that also means that Boise State is also going to be very used to playing on this map as well. It's going to see interesting what comp the Broncos bring out.
Yeah, and I also find it interesting that New Mexico picks this map after winning on Eichenwald against Colorado State.
Yeah, that's
when
interesting.
It was Colorado State's map pick, so why not pick a map that you just won on?
Especially since it was one of the maps you won on. Unfortunately, in a series that they ultimately lost, though, but you might as well pick one of the maps that you did win on.
Yeah, maintain the mindset of, hey, we won this map before, let's do it again. And that's already setting up for a much more positive mindset rather than going into Kings Row after losing against this team and saying, all right, now let's try something brand new that might require an adjustment period.
Well, there's definitely something about going up against the Broncos that makes the Lobos think that Kings Row might be the better choice. So we'll see how they do as we get ready for the first attack here. Looks like the Lobos have swapped over to the red side, and well, whatever the Lobos strategy was, it looks to be working so far as they're going to get a key pick onto Chosen, who isn't going to be able to lob those bombs into that choke point now. Gucci is also going to fall as well. Boise State just kind of getting pulled over right now. I guess the Lobos knew something we didn't in choosing Kings Row because they are already on the point with their first tick. Now some eliminations being traded back and forth between Kuruma and Nerdy. Nerdy still trying to maintain a place on the point. Chosen trying to flank them from behind, but is in an awkward spot and is going to be chased down here. It is run away from the monkey.
Yeah, so actually impressively clean fight from New Mexico, getting the first point in the first team fight. Got two very early picks, both onto Gob and Chosen, who were pushed up way past their tanks, definitely being a little cheeky there. So now New Mexico, with Kurama also getting a huge, what was it, triple? That was just definitely set the tone for their team, continue to push it. You can see why they picked this map. They're doing very well on it.
Of course, I just have to wonder what Chosen is going to be up to, since he's in such an awkward spot right now. Is going to be spotted out and have the Order of Discord thrown on him. As Frost is able to take out Bright. That is a good start for the Broncos, and they're going to continue to move up here. Oh, and look at that. It looks like Kurama is just going to go right into Boise State and use this Genji Blade. It's actually going to be boosted, the Nano Blade, to take out Nerdy. But Valkyrie and C6 are also taken out as Plato uses his Gravitic Flux. So the Nano Blade not really getting the mileage that New Mexico was looking for.
Yeah, that was a huge brawl, but Boise State, with 3 remaining members, is able to maintain it right as the car turned around that corner. So this is a great spot for them to hold. So we can see both members of Frost and Asu pushing up top, trying to contend this Kurama, who has been dominating the high ground with a Genji, but now opening up with the Amplification Matrix.
A lot of damage is going to be pushed through onto the Lobos, but right now, none of them are falling. They're just kind of using that payload to try to use it kind of as a de facto shield to keep their health bars up. Kurama and Yin, though, taking a bit of damage, going down to about half health, but the Yin is going to be able to take out Chosen. Bob is going to be brought out by Frost. But Brighthammer, in response to that, is going to be using oh, look at that shatter and that follow-up, that charge from Nerdy. But is it going to be able to pick up anybody? Nerdy's taking a lot of damage in response, does get healed up, but the Primal Rage is going to be used by Valkyrie in response to get New Mexico a bit more. And now as the rally comes online, Asu is going to use it, but Brighthammer is able to power through that and take out Asu. Valkyrie eliminated by Gucci, and Frost picking up Yin. Boise State might have been able to find out, but of course, Kurama, the Constipate, is going to be taken out by Nerdy, and that is such a huge pick and hold for the Broncos.
Yeah, he was low after that 1v1 with Chosen that he did end up winning, but did not have any supports to back him up as Boise State just continued to push their team further back. If you look at the ult economy, New Mexico has a huge advantage, being at 3-2 now, just charging up that Amplification Matrix, but the Gratific Flux from Plato can definitely be a huge game changer. The deflecting and getting a little bit of poke damage.
Kurama definitely trying to flank there. We'll see if he is able to successfully do it, but right now Boise State without Kurama is just going to kind of slam right into the Lobos, take them all out. And now the New Mexico, despite that flank route that Kurama chose, it didn't really work out, and now the Broncos holding the point yet again.
Yeah, I believe New Mexico only committed the Nano to that fight, so they are still holding on to 3 ults, and now they'll have the Genji Blade up, but no Nano to help.
Yeah,
it.
that's
So
the unfortunate thing.
He's going to be in a rough spot going into this. At least he doesn't have to worry about something like Cole Cassidy Flashbang going into it, but he's now also going to have to deal with Chosen on this Doomfist, who's just going to knock him around, and the Asu to knock him around and stun him, so it'll be a fun time.
Yeah, it looks like we might have just a little bit of a connection issue, so we will work that out in due time and see how things turn out. But overall, it really does seem like the warning that we were given to the Broncos about Kurama being the star DPS can really be should really be heeded, especially if that Nano Blade is successful in being pulled off.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to win this next team fight, seeing as C6 had burned the Nano in the previous fight, and they ended up losing it, seeing as he was the only one to commit an ultimate, whereas the rest of his team just kind of gave up, it seems. They definitely could have pressed Q there and had a chance at winning it, but Kurama was off on the 1v1 against Chosen, which he ended up winning, but did end up getting picked off by Nerdy right at the tail end. So coming into this next fight, they do have the 3 ultimates, but they're going to have to watch out for that Gratific Flux coming out from Plato, because he's been grabbing multiple members in every Flux.
Well, despite all the advice we are giving, this would probably be a good time to review Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch, and that's never to take a fair fight, and that means to take fights fights in unexpected places, when your opponents are unprepared, and when you can have ability advantages. Those are Doc's keys to the game, brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. You can play to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches. To find out more information, go over to Drop-In Gaming and find out what they have to offer. So now just kind of an interesting position there, just kind of an unexpected pause there, but I find it very interesting that Boise State is looking like they might be able to hold the Lobos, because so often we don't see a hold before the first checkpoint. It usually, if the team manages to take that first point, it usually goes to the end of the stage.
Yeah, it's a big perk of that first checkpoint for the car is going around so many of those curves. We see a lot of people hold at that very first archway, but seeing as the attackers have the spawn advantage in that situation, we are seeing more and more teams hold further back at those corners where it's a lot more close quarters. They can take the fights and begin to push up as they're trying to retreat into their spawn, which is what Boise State has been doing, and it's been working. And a lot of the times they also have the high ground advantage, making sure to clear out against, people like Kurama on that Genji, who have really been the only ones to contest the high ground. People like Chosen on the Ashe, who've just kind of had free reign uncontested up top.
Well, it looks like we are just going to be waiting a little bit longer for the Broncos to get back into that game on Kings Row. Just waiting for any sort of connection issues to be worked out. It is kind of a little bit odd, but we will just have to wait and see how things turn out.
Yeah, as we all know, Blizzard is that small indie company, so there will be bugs and issues, even though this game has been out since, 2016? Something like that? So it is definitely something that we have come to expect.
Well, it looks like we're going to take a short break, kind of work out any of those bugs, but we will be back with this fight against New Mexico, so you're not going to want to miss it. Please stay tuned.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're watching our coverage of Mountain West Collegiate Overwatch. We are currently in the middle of a broadcast of Boise State versus New Mexico. Unfortunately, there was just a little bit of a pressing issue that had to deal with one of the Lobos players, but I have heard that they are fine and kind of will be joining back in, so it is just kind of a short break that we're taking right now while everything gets ironed out. But I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer. I am joined by Brenner Bear Ladd to call all of the action for you tonight. And that isn't the only one who we are joined by. We actually have our very own Doc Haskell up on the stage that we're going to talk to during this break here. So apparently with a hot mic as well. So we're just going to work things out there and be ready to talk to Doc when we are. So overall, Brenner, how do you think this match is going so far?
Definitely in Boise State's favor, but Lobos can easily bring it back with how much they have shown that they can take the team fights against Boise State and win, but they are definitely losing a lot of members as the team fight goes on, because Boise State, even being down multiple members, can continue the fight and sometimes even win that fight. They get a lot of those cheeky picks that they really shouldn't be getting away with, where we can see that Lobos really needs to tighten up their team play when it comes to it, because they have the individual level. We've seen them win a couple 1v1s and lose a couple, so that's pretty close on that end. So it comes down to the team play, and Boise State has just been able to maintain it without as many members as they should.
Well, overall, we are just kind of we have some replays, I believe, that we are going to kind of look at how we got to this point. So let's check out some key moments from the past fight. And we started out on Ilios.
Yeah, and I believe this might have even been I don't think it was the play of the game for Plato, but it was an early two-piece for himself on the Sigma, no less, and he charged this Gratific Flux before we even got to 30% on the point, and there were so many ults for Boise State that they were just showing how much they were balling, and this is right at the tail end of the fight when they were just trickling in and Chosen's making sure that he cuts off all the rotation points and that no one can even touch it. So Boise State definitely having an execution plan, Chosen being able to hold his own right up until he goes up against a Moira, which can definitely win a 1v1 against most characters with her right click being that self-heal. But another big showcase for Plato with a 3-man Gratific Flux, letting Frost get a 2-piece out of it. But following up with the double pulse bomb was such a huge play for Chosen. But both these tracers were absolutely popping off.
Yeah, this was, it kind of went to a 1v1 tracer battle here. This was a very crucial pick at the very last moment, as Yin was really the only one who could have kind of dragged things out for New Mexico, but by taking them off, there was no one near the point for the Lobos. So that was enough for Boise State to secure the win in that first fight. And here we kind of take a look at what was happening on Kings Row before we had to duck out of the action.
Yeah, and once again, cutting over into Plato, who just used that Gratific Flux to set up so many eliminations for his teammates, quickly followed by Nerdy charging in right behind him to keep that aggression forward and take a lot of space, which allowed them to just get away with so many of those wins and aggressive plays, and charging their ults that much faster. Charging down the remaining enemies who are retreating allows you to build that much more ult percentage, which is what Boise State has capitalized on again and again.
So we are currently in the middle of that Kings Row fight, Boise State versus the Lobos in Mountain West Collegiate Overwatch. Of course, Boise State has had quite a history for the Mountain West, getting to the finals basically all 3 years that they have competed, and currently are the defending champions right now. So a lot to fight for, and we were talking a little bit earlier, Bear, about the fact that New Mexico, along with Colorado State, is kind of one of those sleeper teams. You never quite know what to expect from them, because even though Boise State has matched UNLV time and time again in Mountain West Overwatch, these two teams are pretty fierce fighters in their own right.
Yeah, they have definitely proved that, especially with taking the first 2 maps off Colorado State, doing very well, and then they sadly were reverse sweep by Colorado State. But you can tell they have a very strong initial push. They are putting up such a strong fight for these 2 maps right off the gate, so I expect that to continue going forward, because it seems that the longer it goes on, the more they begin to fall off, which is an issue with a lot of these players is fatigue setting in, which is something you always have to keep in mind.
Well, it seems both teams are definitely going to have a bit of time to kind of relax here and take a few breathers. We are just waiting to hop right back into the action. Before we do, though, we just kind of want to give you a recap of how things are going to work. This is a 6v6 competitive, best of 5, and the order of maps chosen is Control, Hybrid, Escort, Assault, and then Control again should it go to a Game 5. No hero ban, so everyone is available to play at this point. But overall, we really have to say a big portion of the Lobos strategy seems to be the threat from their star player Kurama on the DPS. So how do you really deal with a very aggressive DPS? How do you counter that?
I mean, if he's going to be over-aggressive, you wait for him to dive you and collapse right on top of him because you know your tank players can hold the front line. They've been doing so again and again and again. Plato has not had an issue just eating up as much projectiles as he can to get that overshield to just stay alive in the front line with the Sigma. And same with Nerdy on the Rhine. She just has to swing and hold up her shield, and she won't take any damage a lot of the time. So now going into a really aggressive DPS, it's just going to come down to the supports and the DPS to match essentially a 1v4 situation, so they just need to play close together.
Well, I have been talking about the Boise State's history in the Mountain West overall, and we actually have a video to kind of recap some of Boise State's past greatest moments in the Mountain West. So while we wait to get back into this game, let's take a look back at Boise State in the Mountain West Overwatch.
Jedi, there goes a huge shatter onto Fresno now. Can the follow-up get them down there? Worked out. Well, Plato certainly not thrown off there by taking out Seguru and Sliver as well. Boise State, look at that shot, though, onto Tracer there. Both teams are still even at 5. There's the pick onto Seguru. Goblin getting a double, coming through in clutch with a triple for Boise State. That is a huge hold there. Now here comes Boise State trying to even it back up. Oh, look at that double diva bomb.
Only Fresno State does the same thing as we get that Riptire to start.
Whoa!
And a huge double kill. Who's going to come out, plus a 2-man shatter onto both tanks for UNLV. They'll both get booped off the edge. Arma's got to hold on to it as he hit a huge rocket barrage.
That's going to be a double onto Wild Wing and QWERTY through the windows here. That barrage there is going to pick up a double, and they're going to burn their Blizzard for nothing there.
Taking fairly low. There's the EMP going to land on the 5. They'll trade off 1 for 1. QWERTY's the next one to be taken out of the mech. He'll get burned down as well.
Going to be using their bringing out the Nano Blade combo, but he gets hit with the Sleep Dart. Being able to hit that Sleep Dart onto the Nano Bladed Silk, who gets taken out by Plato. Ultimate Fresno State has a huge barrage coming through with a double there from Goblin. Not by a flame strike though, but Pelt evens it up by taking out Shishame. Now Bully Hunter and Robin also eliminated. Boise State is still 1 up, now 2 up in this fight. It isn't overtime. They focus down to Guru. That's it, Broncos. Using that primal rage from QWERTY there. And there goes the Diva back. Boise State, you have taken down Goliath. You are the Mountain West champion.
Got Boise State the championship last time. And they currently are the defending champions for the Mountain West, certainly looking like one of the top teams in the 2022 season. So they definitely have a lot to defend and a great history in the Mountain West. They fought for that title so many times, and they finally got it last year.
Yeah, UNLV has as we talk about again and again whenever we do this Mountain West, the rivalry between us and UNLV has been stronger than ever. They won the first 3 years. Then we finally came back and beat them last year. And then not even last week, we were able to beat them again, which was such a huge moral victory for us of just, it wasn't just a one-time thing. We are finally have surpassed that level, and we can continue that going forward. So hopefully we can maintain this championship for this semester.
Well, as you kind of saw there, we saw a view of the stage, and joining us up on the stage is our own Doc Haskell to give us a little bit more information while we wait for the match to regain. Doc, what do you have for us?
Well, I got a couple things. A microphone that works properly is definitely one of those things.
That's a
Nerdy,
plus.
Stand with me real quick. You don't need to mask your plan. So help us understand what's going on their end.
Right now, what's going on with the other team? Well, unfortunately, when you live in the dorms, sometimes things go wrong, and in this case, there was a gas leak, so 2 of the players had to do an emergency evacuation and are now heading towards their esports arena so they can rejoin the game.
Yeah. So do we have a sense of how common this is on the UNM campus?
What this is?
How common?
Pretty common. From what I just heard, they have a lot of dorm incidences occurring lately.
Gotcha. Okay, so of their players making a move to a new location, who's going to be winded when they come back?
I would guess Valkyrie.
So it's just Valkyrie that's running?
No, there's 2 of them that's running, but I think Valkyrie's going to be the one that's going to get the harder hit.
Yeah, okay. So a couple questions for you. This group up here is playing some different roles tonight. If you're passing out grades, how's Frost doing?
Frost is doing great. Frost always does a fantastic job no matter what role he's playing.
So is it B+, solid B+?
Definitely an A.
Oh, all right. Okay, very good. What about Chosen, the DPS player?
Chosen's getting a B+.
I'm pretty sure Chosen has had gold elims, gold damage a couple times.
Yeah, but I prefer him on my support because then I would not die.
Okay, so Chosen, I'm just going to ask you, what's your safest, most survivable hero right now, DPS?
Whichever one doesn't have like a movement ability, because.
Whichever one doesn't have a movement ability, or does?
So like, if I'm given a chance to like int, I'll do it. So that's why I'm good at Zen. It's because it doesn't give me that chance.
You're right. Okay, so Doomfist is out, Genji is out. Who else is out as far as inting? Maybe you just need to play Mei the rest of the night.
Well, I'm on the Doom now because I can just sort of like int and trade. That's the best part about Doom. So I'm playing like Gob.
Ah, that's true. That's true. Int and trade. Create the trade. Very nice. Yeah. A DPS for support. Good call. Okay. Well, hey, we're just kind of killing time up here, getting ready to go, and we'll throw it back as on desk unless you've got any questions for this crew.
Now, I just find it interesting that when given the chance, every member of the Broncos team is taking the ability to casually throw shade at each other. So I'm glad that the team spirit is alive and well up there on stage.
These folks are having fun, and honestly, I mean, Gob's looking for. Well, I think he may even be ordering it now. They're in his theater seat down there. Maybe ordering himself some dinner.
Yeah.
But, there are a lot of worse places to be on a Friday night.
Yeah, I suppose so. That is correct. Also, I got to say, thank you. Thank you, Doc. So ultimately, yeah, just one of those things, unfortunately, sometimes campus life can get in the way. And in this particular circumstance, it just looks like we are just waiting to see how fast the Lobos can walk over to another safer building with hopefully better utility hookups than the ones they were playing in. So overall, though, we are glad that the other team is safe, that everything is going well. So we will probably just wait a little bit. There we go. We get a live shot at Gob. So overall, we were wondering if he was ordering anything. What would you order this time, Bear?
I mean, if you want something quick and easy, you just go across the street over to the Panda or Chipotle there. So probably one of those two.
Yeah, probably something there. That would certainly be the quickest. But it looks like we are still just waiting for everything to pick up. I think we will probably take another break and then be back when we get word that the Lobos are back online. So please stay tuned. We will come back with more Boise State Mountain West Overwatch after this.
nationalguard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're currently watching our coverage of Mountain West Overwatch games featuring Boise State and New Mexico. Boise State currently has a 1-0 lead over New Mexico as they were fighting in hybrid Kings Row when we got an unexpected pause. Unfortunately, it seems there was a little bit of a safety issue with some of the New Mexico players. There was a gas leak in one of their dorm buildings. So they are currently repositioning themselves, and we will be ready to jump back into the game when they are ready. Thankfully, it seems everyone is safe, though, so it's just a matter of just finding some good computers at work and getting ready to get back into the action. Hopefully, all the computers in their arena are updated on Overwatch, because that would just be salt in the wound having to download an update at this time.
Yeah, definitely. And at this point, it might also just be the case of might just have to finish out Kings Row being down a member or two. So it sounds like that might just be the case of they're going to have to finish out 5v6. It sounds like they're already just going to be playing Overwatch 2 ahead of time.
Yeah, I guess we can just see what the 5v5 meta would look like at this point. So here we go. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to finish it out. We're going to start off with Nerdy Bird opening with a shatter onto Kurama. Chosen also taking out C6. So at this point, all the New Mexico really has to focus on is just getting to that next checkpoint.
Yeah, so it looks like we did end up losing Yin being down the DPS player. So we're sticking to the double tank meta for 5v5, it seems, as Gucci is able to take down that retreating Zarya or fresh out of spawn. Either way, now you definitely don't want to go into a fight being 4v6. So you know New Mexico is just going to be playing extra safe. And I find it interesting that they're still going with a Winston being down a member. You can't really go for that dive execute play, not having that extra DPS to follow it up.
But Valkyrie is going to start things off right for the Lobos, but it's answered back by Asu Frost, also taking out C6. The Boise State goes back up to the advantage, but Bright's managing to take away Gob from Boise State. Nerdy and Chosen picking up picks for themselves, and also Chosen getting a stagger onto New Mexico. Unfortunately, it looks like they're going to run into a bit of problem trying to keep the payload going.
Yeah, Chosen's just going to have a fun day in the backline as Asu ends up getting slept and naded down with the help of that Cole Cassidy, but he was the only support to be seen. So now it seems Gucci might be going for that Battle Mercy that we all love to see. So both these supports are just going out for the damage as, sadly, the favorite member of the team, Bob, does fall.
Looking nerdy here. Looks like they're just waiting for a sneaky shatter. Is going to be able to pick up Kurama, so managed to just kind of solo shatter one of them. Also going to be swinging right into Valkyrie. New Mexico is going to find so much damage pushed back onto them, one after the other. That's basically every member taken out. That looks like it's going to end New Mexico's push.
Yeah, so the rally's going to come out from Asu just to make sure that Boise State can maintain this such aggressive push, but New Mexico's going to answer with the Nano, so they have a chance, right?
I don't think so right now.
Perfect timing.
It's like they're actually going to run in. Nerdy is going to end that with a charge and just fall on their backs there. But overall, we can take kind of a look here at what led up to this. And unfortunately for New Mexico, just having to play down one member, it's just sometimes just in these tournaments, though, you can't wait for too long because you don't want to bring a DQ into the situation. So it's just better to just kind of play while you wait for your other teammate to get back online.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see, if it would be allowed, a substitute for New Mexico, because that could definitely add to help them continue forward until they can have their full roster back in shape. But deal with the hand you got, and if you got 6 players, you play 6 players. So seems that they're just going to continue with this 5v6. I'll be very curious if they'll be able to hold, even with Boise State playing on their off
I don't know.
roles.
That's a big ask.
They could do it. I mean, Statue of Liberty. Do it.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
It's a possibility. Or if we want to go for maximum shenanigans, we could just mirror swap them and just go for 1v1s all game. That would be fun. I would love to see that. Because we've seen the Brig 1v1. We saw early on Ilios the Mercy v Tracer 1v1 and then the Tracer v Tracer 1v1. So that could definitely highlight some of these players' individual level skills.
Well, here we go. Boise State ready to push on to the first point. Chosen looks like they have swapped over to this Widowmaker. Have to remember, Chosen only got a B from Nerdy in terms of overall performance, so might try to make that up with a couple picks. It looks like Frost, though, is doing a great job picking off right. Valkyrie is also going to fall to Asu. C6 is the only elimination that the Lobos can show for themselves. Boise State just in the first engagement, picking up the point pretty easy.
Yeah, Boise State playing an all DPS roster. Asu getting a double on that Moira, making sure to only throw out damage balls and hold that right click. On top of Gucci being on that Lucio, making sure to int as hard as possible, using only speed right into the enemy team, and Chosen even engaging, not even sniping, just holding the left click.
Well, there goes Asu with a pick onto Kurama. Frost is also going to take out Brighthammer. Doing a double there, taking out Valkyrie as well. It seems like they're Lucio. Boise State, Gucci is just going to hop off that payload for the time being.
Just call us C9.
Yeah.
I mean, in a 6v5 situation, you know exactly why they're doing this, because at this point, we're here to have fun. Because being down a member is just such a crummy situation, especially in a best of 5 where this is the second map. You know, this is kind of just a given away map and could secure Boise with the 3-0, so it's definitely time to just have fun and lighten the mood.
Well, any mood lightning is going to be ruined by that gravitic flux for the Lobos, which goes into an elimination for their Rhine. Also, the Coalescence is going to push a whole lot of damage onto the Lobos. It's going to be a team wipe for Boise State.
Yeah, Frost even almost falling off the edge. Thankfully, he had the E available to knock himself up to prevent that, but Boise State throwing all 4 of the ultimates that they had as soon as they had them. All 5 even. Make that a 2-piece.
There you go.
A 3. This is the Widow we want to see from these skill level players.
That's Chosen saying, okay, do I get an A now? Am I still B ranked here, or can I finally be ranked?
Do you approve, Mom? You see me now?
Oh, look.
The self-sacrifice.
I like it. I like the play. Chosen's still doing work on this Widow here, getting another pick onto Kurama. Frost also taking out a Brighthammer, and amidst all that fighting, Boise State is going to drive into their parking spot and end this round. Another win for the Broncos. Unfortunately, the Lobos, just due to circumstances, couldn't play with a full team, but hopefully by the time the next round starts, they will be all ready to go. And it's going to be Chosen instead.
It has to be that
and you
triple.
hear a scream of despair from the stage from Nerdy, who so callously ranked Chosen as just a B. Well, is this B grade right now, Nerdy? Because that's a great play by Chosen.
And from the support player, no less, you know they're the best DPS. Battle Mercy. Let's see it. I love Battle Mercy.
Well,
As
that
a
might just
previous
something.
Mercy main, Battle Mercy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that'd be something fun to bring out if New Mexico still can't get up to a full 6-person team, then just throw something in there to make it a little bit more interesting. But now looks like we are going to be ready, giving time for the Lobos to choose their next stage. Before we hand it off to a break between these stage choices, what would you choose for Escort?
Probably something that's absolutely ludicrous and we never see it else. So probably Dorado, right? I mean, it's what we see most common, and it's definitely something that I think the Lobos could capitalize on, but it would definitely be not the best pick because how often Boise State plays it. But then again, going back to something like Havana, where they had definitely struggled with going up against Colorado State, I hope they don't pick that. So maybe even something like Rialto, where they could try to hold them very early on and go for a lot of those environmentals, since both their tank players are still in the game.
So it seems we're just going to hang around right now and just be ready to jump into the next round when it starts, just considering all the delays that we have. So now New Mexico getting their choice to choose Escort. Boise State's still technically up 2-0 in this overall fight. So now, but New Mexico should know more than any other team that you can't count these things out because reverse sweeps can happen. They had one earlier tonight performed against them by Colorado State. So now maybe it's their turn, and they're going to start out on Dorado. So that seems like that is the choice.
Yeah, so hopefully they will have that 6-man roster to have a fighting chance at Dorado. So we will have to wait and see if they can pull it off, because they definitely can. We've seen them constantly run the aerial combo with the Mercy, the Echo, or the Farah, so hopefully we can see that repeat.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how New Mexico does on Dorado. That is indeed the choice for them. And are there any hero picks that you think could be brought out onto this stage that would really play into New Mexico's strengths?
I mean, with how aggressive they have been trying to prolong the fight or even end it early for that matter, either way they wanted to go, I think for Dorado, you could easily see the aerial that I touched on already with the Mercy combo. You could even try to go for the Reaper if Boise State is trying to hold the high ground, just teleport right on top of them and begin that brawl, because we know the Lobos love brawling early on. They did it against Colorado State and won multiple of those fights. So trying to go for those high damage in your face, brawl it out, get the ults charged as fast as you can, could definitely work in their favor. Maybe even going for like a symmetric TP if Boise State's holding that high ground for the defense. But if they are defending, they might want to play a little bit further back, something like the Hanzo or the Ashe, and just try to burn them down and poke them down.
Well, if you are going to go with that more passive strategy, then you have to be ready to actually be accurate enough to get the picks, because being a bit too passive can give a lot of ground up to the team around this first bend here if you play from this high area that we're seeing right now.
They're also going to have to try to match the triple kill Chosen just got on King's Row. So if they're running a sniper, or even a Widow for that matter, there's a pretty high bar set, so you're going to have to pull your weight, and probably then some.
Well, if the silhouettes are anything to judge, I do believe I see a full 6-person roster again, so it does look like the Lobos are back online and ready to fight. And here we go, Dorado, they're going to have to mount a reverse sweep. Is this the start of that?
Yeah, we do see the Pharmacy online for them as well, but they're also sticking with C6 now in the Cole Cassidy, who's previously a support.
Now Boise State is just trying to keep this defense going right here. See, Nerdy is going to be brought onto this Wrecking Ball. We'll see how that works out as Griffith is going to dive in up onto the upper levels, taking a lot of damage, going to go down to about half health as Asu is also taken out, as well as Frost, and looks like Nerdy can't get away in the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, Boise State just taken apart there, so now New Mexico might be able to even get the first checkpoint, having 4 members on the cart. Guys, the max is out at 3. It's okay. Make sure to go back down to 1 very quickly as soon as the fight starts.
Well, it seems like the strategy of fighting as a team has certainly worked out for them, as they're going to have 5 minutes, just a huge amount of time for them. They took that first checkpoint in record time, and they are already well ahead of Boise State in terms of ultimate charge and resources.
Yeah, I mean, trying to maintain this high ground control, the Diva 1v1 coming on. So at least these teams are respecting the 1v1, but make sure to Plato come flying in and knock them down. It's going to be all eyes on Nerdy to try to deal with this Far Mercy combo.
We're going to see if they can do it right now, as it looks like everything is started out by Plato on this Wrecking Ball, and Chosen and Frost are also going to pick up two eliminations for themselves. Spritehammer and C6 are taken out of the equation, but right now the Lobos still trying to fight back by taking out Frost, and there goes a huge barrage up from Kurama, but it's going to be the Battle Mercy play by Nerdy. You wanted to see the Battle Mercy there, and there you go. Oh, excuse me, the Baby D. You know what? It's just as impressive. It's just as impressive, okay?
Doc's professional hero, the Baby
Doc's professional hero. I am so sorry. I saw the pistol fire, and I just assumed.
It's all right. I mean, you were on the other side, so now I want to see Giraffe against the Baby D.
Yeah, well, you were setting up so much in my mind, Brenner, that I just had
I wish to see it.
Yeah. But still, great play by Nerdy on that Pilot Diva. A great play nonetheless.
Yeah, and yet somehow I believe Plato still got the elimination on it, which is just a little bit of the cheeky kill steal.
It's like when you steal the ace from the other person, you know what I mean?
I mean, as long as you got the elimination,
you're happy, but at the same time, are you really happy?
I mean, you got the quad beforehand, so it's fine. But Plato engaging with the mines, able to take down 2 by his lonesome. Surprised you got no assists on that, seeing as the grapple eliminated the Cole Cassidy and the Deadeye coming out solo for the poor old Mercy as Plato makes it a triple, taking down Griffin on that Baby Diva.
Now Boise State looking like they are going to try for another defense here. You see Plato just kind of really holding this high ground. Unfortunately, that is a pick that Boise State did not want to see. Got a little bit too aggressive there, and that one pick onto Chosen could give the Lobos what they need to push the payload forward now.
Yeah, definitely playing very far apart and definitely possibly even cheeky. The Nano gonna come out right onto the top and get the Diva Bomb onto a Mercy, swinging the fight in their favor. Now they're going to answer it with their own Diva Bomb, not getting elimination, sadly, but instead, then Kuruma will eliminate Frost, quickly followed by Nerdy, taking down Valkyrie with the help of the Nano as Plato gets a 2-piece onto Bright Hammer and C6, quickly followed by Nerdy, denying the aerial superiority, taking down Kurama, and Chosen with the Dynamite, taking down the Baby Diva.
Yeah, Nerdy's doing such a good job right now on this Diva, is really just kind of disrupting the plays here from this Pharmacy before they can really happen, getting up in the air and kind of bullying them down, and also just when they do use the barrage, even if Nerdy is on Pilot Diva, still finding a way to take them out.
Yeah, it feels like we're playing Here's the Storm now because we got that Nova skin on Frost on that Widow, which we love to see. So they went full sniper. They have Asu on Liana, they have the Ashe, they have the Widow. So Boise's just playing super far back and just trying to poke them down, get those cheeky picks early on, so New Mexico won't even have a push to follow them up. But a pick like that onto Frost is definitely the momentum New Mexico needs. But Plato makes sure to even it out, taking down Bright Hammer on that main heals. Might just already be the end of the push for New Mexico.
Well, it looks like a battle between the Divas is going to go in favor of Nerdy, although Nerdy is taken out of their mech, and it seems like that barrage was just saved for Nerdy, just kind of a revenge there for that Pilot Diva elimination. Plato's still trying to fight here for New Mexico, but Kurama is still piling on the eliminations onto Plato. Chosen is trying to fight against this angry Winston here. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Yeah, Bob unable to save. Chosen on that. Ashe will simply just run away from the bog as he is the best member of Overwatch. As Gob gets a 2-piece off the Zenyatta, will end up falling to Valkyrie as the Diva Bomb comes out for Nerdy, able to pick up one onto Bright Hammer, so that is 3 members down. Tanks falling very low, make that 2 remaining. Nerdy getting a triple. Very clean engage.
We wanted to see some great plays by Nerdy tonight, and certainly that qualifies. It seems like the Diva, the self-destructs have been on point for Nerdy, always picking up 1 or 2. Not the easiest thing to do with the self-destruct, since normally there are plenty of time for them to get out of the way, but Nerdy is finding a way to place them where they're getting mileage just about every time.
Yeah, so now it's going to once again be the Battle of the Skies, but now having the wall hacks online for Boise State, they're definitely going to try to get those cheeky picks with the Sniper squad as Chosen swapped over to Tracer, but now the Nano is going to come out onto the Nerdy on this Diva, so it was going to be the 1v1 between her and Valkyrie on the Winston, but Winston was losing that hard. Just look at his life bar. So now the Valkyrie and the self-destruct is going to come out. It's going to de-mech Nerdy. Frost is able to get the pick onto Valkyrie, though, being solo, and deny the res with help of Gucci. But now Plato brings out the mines to demech the Diva and get a two-piece, make that a quad onto and a team wipe.
That is just basically a Plato ace right there with everything that he threw onto New Mexico. That was something that we have been seeing just tonight in general between both Overwatch matches we've seen. That minefield just so great to really zone off the other team and really force them off of the payload in those crucial moments where they have no time left.
Yeah, and they only made it the 89.26 meters, so they got close to that second checkpoint. But now they will have to try to prevent this Boise State aggressiveness from just steamrolling over them. But with how quickly they took that first point, I think they'll be able to hold them pretty solidly if they are able to get the momentum in their favor. They just need an early pick or two in order to sway the fight in their favor, because even though Boise State members will always beat down a member in a fight, they're never out. So New Mexico is going to have to play very tight and close together if they want to be able to hold off Boise State push. And at Silhouettes, I'm seeing a Mercy and a Bastion. So
I saw some swaps, though, so they might
Pirate
just
ship?
be toying with us.
Pirate
Yeah,
ship?
it would be interesting to see this play.
The Battle Mercy. The Battle Mercy. It's time. Especially going up against 3 support players on the side of New Mexico. This is definitely where we could see some support 1v1s, right? Yes? Yes. Yes.
We'll just have to see. I was so eager to do it last time I mistook the Pilot Diva for the Mercy, but hopefully we actually see some actual Mercy battles right now. As Boise State looks like Nerdy is going to be making space for themselves up on the upper ground, going to be ready to kind of challenge New Mexico's, which position themselves on the high ground, and huge amount of damage being brought onto Valkyrie. They will be taken out by Nerdy. Chosen also doing great work on this Bastion as Gob also picks up right. And that is just a very clean engage from Boise State. And Nerdy is also on the hunt for Kurama. They're actually taken out by Asu. But Nerdy is doing a great job of challenging these DPSs down from their high points to where Boise State can pick them off.
Yeah, and even the supports are playing DPS as the supports are trying to get that gold elims away from Chosen right now. Ross doing his work as well on the Widow, but it's one member on the car. Boise State's pushed up past the checkpoint trying to contest for the second one.
Nerdy's, could we see another great Pilot Diva player? It's just going to kind of mow down that shield.
You have to make Doc proud, it's his main.
Well, that's a good start for Plato, just kind of slamming right into the Lobos as Gucci is also able to take out their lamp.
A lot of damage being exchanged, but Plato already charged up the mines. Bright Hammer has the amplification matrix, but can't really use it when you have mines on top of you, so you can't even get to it. Asu getting another elimination. These supports are out for blood right now.
Oh,
He's even
no.
going to throw the mines on the point to answer with the amplification matrix. Valkyrie getting the elimination onto Asu, who probably just pushed up a bit too far. Chosen trying to give his sermon as the Bastion.
What is even this angle?
He's giving a sermon, don't you know? He's in the church behind the podium.
I suppose so. This just
Even gets the elimination.
His
Kurama, no.
His prayers are answered, I suppose.
It was mech on mech violence in the Bastion one.
Well, there goes an amp matrix that's being thrown down, and here goes Chosen. We're talking about mech violence. This might be getting even uglier as the tank is brought out. It's going to take out C6. Griffin is also going to fall to Gucci there. Valkyrie taking a lot of damage. Gucci able to get 2. And a last-minute copy is going to be brought out by Kurama, and not going to do anything, really.
He was up on the high ground trying to match the damage coming out from the Asu, who got probably too many eliminations on the Baptiste, but he was trying to match his fell support of the Zenyatta. So play of the game even going over to Kurama with the sharpshooter. So denying Boise State that last little bit, but Boise State did get the clean 3-0.
Oh!
Well deserved, well deserved.
I suppose, yeah, you got to give it to them in that instance. Well, a few roadblocks here and there, but Boise State overall getting the win against the Lobos, going 3-0 in the overall series. So great job to the Broncos. They continue to be undefeated in the Mountain West Overwatch circuit. Well, now, as we prepare to kind of close out the night, we just want to remind everybody that Boise State Esports is always looking for new roles to fill on Overwatch, League of Legends, Rocket League, and a whole host of other esports as well as production roles. Top talent, along with good grades and eligibility, can improve your chances as well. To find out more about how you can join the Bronco family, go to boisestate.edu/esports for more information. So now's about the time that we choose the player of the game, and it really could have gone to a lot of different people there. I mean, there were so many unexpected plays there, and we were playing kind of secondary roles for a lot of these, for a lot of the esports athletes. So really could be anyone. I'm not sure. I can't really make a choice.
I mean, yeah, everybody had their moment in the sun. We saw the Zenyatta constantly getting a lot of the DPS plays on a Zenyatta. Same with Asu right at the tail end and at the very beginning. You know, Battle Mercy 1v1 against the Tracer and winning it. Then the Baptiste, he's getting a lot of eliminations on Dorado. Then Chosen had his triple kill on the Widowmaker. Then Frost tried to match that on his own Widowmaker and playing the DPS. And then the Soldier 76 plays. And then both tanks had their moments. It could go to anybody, for sure.
Well, let's just find out who the choice has been made for. Actually, it looks like it is, in fact, going to be Nerdy, who had so many great plays. We were talking earlier about how these self-destructs were so consistent.
Yeah, it's one of the perks of always having that giant AoE is if you're able to get one or two people, that definitely swings the team fight in your favor, especially against a team like New Mexico. When they lose one or two members, it is super detrimental to the team, whereas for Boise State, it just means they're going to fight that much harder. So being able to capitalize on those ultimates, normally we see the Diva Bomb being that big flashy play, getting, you know, the quad or something. So seeing it used as the one or twos definitely allows for the player of the game to be given, because we see it more and more, getting those eliminations, swinging the fight in their favor.
Well, the ICC Player of the Game is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central is helping members achieve financial success. Nerdy Bird is going to be your Idaho Central Credit Union Player of the Game. Well, as we prepare to close out tonight, Bear, do you have any final thoughts?
More Battle Mercy. More Battle Mercy.
I don't know if we will quite see that. We'll just have to see. It's a wish, though. I'll give it to you that. So maybe one day your wish will come true. Well, overall, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for watching all of the Mountain West Overwatch action we've got brought to you. And we're going to close it out with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuardGaming. Enjoy your top 5 plays of the game.
I mean, as long as you got the elimination,
you're happy, okay. But at the same time, are you really happy?
I mean, you got the quad beforehand, so it's fine. But Plato engaging with the mines, able to take down 2 by his lonesome. Surprised you got no assists on that, seeing as the grapple eliminated the Cole Cassidy, and that he is the best member of Overwatch. As Gop gets a 2-piece on the Zenyatta, will end up falling to Valkyrie as the Diva Bomb comes out for Nady, able to pick up one onto Brighthammer, so that is 3 members down. Tanks falling very low, make that 2 remaining. Nerdy getting a triple. Instead, Asu will get the res onto Frost, keeping his precious Echo alive. So now the Gratific Flux is going to come out from Plato onto 3 members, leading to Frost getting a 2-piece. Xena was only able to pick up 1, so now Kurama's getting to throw the Pulse Bomb. But Chosen shows him how it's done with a triple Pulse Bomb of his own. Kurama gets a 2-piece from the melee. Using that hard, just look at his life bar. So now the Valkyrie and the Self-Destruct is going to come out. It's going to de-mech Nerdy. Frost is able to get the pick onto Valkyrie, though, being solo, and deny the res with help of Gucci. But now Plato brings out the mines to de-mech the Diva and get a 2-piece, make that a quad onto, and a team wipe. He had the E available to knock himself up to prevent that, but Boise State throwing all 4 of the ultimates that they had as soon as they had all 5 even, make that a 2-piece.
There you go.
A 3. This is the Widow we want to see from these skill level players.
That's Chosen saying, okay, do I get an A now? Am I still B ranked here, or can...